Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 473, right here on Sifted at sifted.net. Next couple hours of awesome games discussion is right at your fingertips. And of course, to do all that is the one and the only Matthew Keil. How are you, Matt?
All right. Is the dresser behind you brighter than normal?
I don't know.
Did you move a light?
let me flip the camera here.
Is
it? No, I think it's the same.
Is it? It just seems like the right side of that frame just seems so more vibrant than normal. I don't know. Maybe the dresser just got a good night's sleep.
Well, I'll tell you, I just finally got myself a new phone. I had an iPhone 12. Oh. I finally upgraded to a new phone. And I've started shooting a lot of stuff with the phone instead of using these crazy expensive cameras that we have, because it's as good as these crazy expensive cameras that we have.
The camera is as good.
And
it's gigantic.
Yeah, it's heavy too. Yeah. And the one thing I'll say is when I started shooting with this, it's way brighter than the other cameras that I had been using. And so I have to bring down the brightness and crank up the contrast a little bit.
I will say, when you scroll back through all my photos over the years, you can tell when I get a new phone.
Yeah.
Like
it's a switch.
Really does make a jump.
It really is.
It's usually about 2 models behind where the Android was, but it's still an improvement.
Yep. How has your week been, Matt?
It's all right.
Yeah? Do anything special this week?
Not really. What did we do? Did my Godzilla card game tournament in Anaheim.
How did that go?
I got second.
Oh, nice.
I usually get first.
Yeah. So were you disappointed? Did some upstart show up that you didn't know about?
It's the same guy.
Okay. So you guys are rivals.
I've only lost 3 times there, and it's all to the same guy.
So now you two are like rivals.
Sorta. We're also both named Matt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you guys friendly though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like you guys are like at each other or anything.
I lost the first time I ever played there to him.
Makes sense.
I'd never seen his weird ass deck before. And then I lost a couple weeks ago because I made an incredibly stupid mistake, and he just walked in and won. And then I lost last week because I was trying a new deck, and
didn't work out as you'd hoped.
No, it did, but it's just weak against his deck, but it's kind of okay because he's the only one who plays it.
Oh.
He plays it, so I'm gonna probably use a different one for locals from now on, but I'll use the new one for online stuff.
Interesting.
So it's
travel down to Anaheim for that.
Oh yeah, it's the only place that does an official tournament weekly.
Really?
It's not the most popular game in the world.
Yeah.
I don't want to shock you. But it's very.
There's no Magic the Gathering.
No. But it's very good. Like as one of the guys who plays it from Texas said, there's no reason this game had to be as good as it is.
No.
It just needed to be a little Godzilla card game to make a little extra money for a licensor from Toho.
Mm-hmm.
And instead they made like one of the best card games I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get into because it's Japanese. It's a Japanese card game, which means like, we're used to like Magic booster boxes. I think are like 24 or 32 packs, or I don't know what they are anyway. I think they've lowered the number of packs you get now, but you get like 15, 14 cards in them. The Japanese ones are 12 packs per box, 7 cards per pack.
Okay.
So like if you buy a box of this thing and you open it, you do not have enough cards to make a deck.
No.
And they only make 2 starter decks.
Jeez.
And those are mostly out of print.
Wow.
So it's not easy.
You gotta want it.
And like most places don't carry it because they basically you have to have a relationship with the publisher, Bushiroad, which mostly does like anime booby games.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to order like a large amount. You have to order like 3 cases, and most people are not confident enough that they're going to be able to sell 3 cases of Godzilla cards, which is stupid because call me.
You'll buy them all.
No, the crew in Anaheim like the store down there has slowly realized that like the people that come to that will buy them out of there.
Yeah.
So like they were very hesitant early on, but we're like
we'll buy them.
It was all when the last set came out, it was all gone in 20 minutes.
Oh wow!
Like as soon as
nobody body slammed anybody.
Oh no! We all arrived.
No one choked anybody for the cards.
Everybody got everyone made sure they didn't buy too many, so that everyone got some.
We curated a video on.
It's the most supportive fandom community I've ever been involved in.
Oh,
like I have not met a single jerk, not a single irritating person. Everyone is even the guy who like dominates the game is like the best player in the game is this guy from Texas, and he will help you. He will like get online.
Tell you how to beat him.
He'll tell you what he's doing and what to think about and how to guess what cards he has in his hand while he's playing. Partly because he's just confident because he's that good.
Yeah.
Because he is.
Yeah.
But he's super competitive and he wants everyone else to be competitive, so he gets good games from people.
Sure. That's his
whole
It's no fun
thing.
just whipping people all the time.
Yeah.
It gets boring fast.
It's been a very positive experience like doing that.
That's great.
It's just one of those things where it's like
Niche of a niche.
Very niche of a niche. Also, most people who are into it are fans of Godzilla first, which helps.
It makes sense.
The other TCG players at the store we play at don't really know what to make of us.
Yeah.
Like one guy brings his kid sometimes. It's like baby because his girlfriend has to work, so he brings the baby and the baby just sits next to him. But sometimes the baby, like a few weeks ago, the baby started to sing.
Oh.
Like started to kind of do the thing where babies like hum, like the kind of like tune will say. And then we all started doing it. And like the whole all the Godzilla people started going, oh, and then we all started like
that is great.
Then we all kind of broke into the Mothra song, that thing they sing. This thing, Masura, and like everyone was
great.
Like, and all the other people that were over like playing like Pokemon next to us were like, what are these
people? Are crazy.
People? Like,
the Godzilla people are nuts.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
But we spend too much money for them to like tell us to go away. So
that's great. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 473, right here on Sifted at SIFTD.net. We have an awesome 3 hours of games discussion lined up for you guys today. This episode is going to be a little bit different than the ones we've done over the last, 5 or 6 episodes, because there weren't a lot of game releases this week. However, there was a big one, Crimson Desert, and we're going to review that first here on the show today. No surprise there. So we're going to dive deep into that open-world action RPG, which is very polarizing. It seems like people either love it or hate it or whatever. So we're going to discuss that. But then otherwise, this week's episode, is going to, if you liked our lightning round, which we got rid of when we switched over to 2026, but if you like that style of podcast, you're going to love GameFace episode 473. We have like 12 topics today to get to, so we'll spend a bunch of time on Crimson Desert. After that, it's going to be like machine gun fire. We're going to be going through topics every 5 minutes or so. So if you like that kind of style of GameFace, you're going to love this episode. I promise you that. Let's check in with you guys before we get going into the show and see how y'all are doing. Thank you guys for any Twitch Prime or anything else that's going on. Let's see. Z Vitamin CZ with a $5 super chat. He says, I'm going to need an emergency sidebar so Matt can use his Street Fighter knowledge to explain to me why Alex married his second cousin.
I don't have an explanation for that one.
Let's just hold off on that because that is topic 11 in today's show. I also want to know that from Matt because I guess you don't know either.
I don't know why you think I have an answer to this. Is Capcom doing weird shit?
You just know lore really well, so I just thought you might know.
This is all new. Like they just decided that's what had happened, and everyone's like, what?
Yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But, that is part of the show. So if you can stick around, Vitamin C, hopefully you can hear both Matt and I sort of pontificate on that. Let's head over to Twitch. Oh, it's Luna finally showing up to say hello. We haven't seen her for a while.
The other thing I should note about like in the TCG space is guess what's about to get a paper TCG? Pal World.
I saw that.
But a bunch of distributors have started to pull back.
Really?
And saying like
they're afraid they'll get sued or
either that or some people are saying that Nintendo talked to them.
Oh. It's like if you sell those cards, we're not going to sell you Pokemon cards.
Pokemon is the money in the TCG, even more than Magic at this point.
Throwing their weight around. I'm not surprised to hear that about Nintendo. Congram says, I thought Crimson Desert was going to score higher. Have you played it, Congram? I'm just curious. TV Hardy, thank you for Twitch Prime. Aussie Brit 2000, thank you for Twitch Prime. And while we're here at the early part of the show, if you're wondering why we always thank people for this, it's because they're giving us a free $2.50 every time they subscribe with Twitch Prime. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can give us a free $2.50 every single month. And you get Pactor Factor a week early with all our patrons. So when we thank people for doing this at the beginning of the show, in the middle of the show, at the end, that's what they're doing, and we'd appreciate it very much. If you could look into it, if you're watching on YouTube, go down below in the description, and there's step-by-step instructions down there. What else we got in here? Got a Gamblers 33. How does layoffs for live service devs work? Like they never needed these devs to begin with. That's a good point, actually.
I mean, I don't think we really know exactly who's being laid off yet.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of, like, promotional people and marketing and you know.
Are we talking about Epic here?
Yeah.
That's another topic in today's show. We're going to talk about there was 1,000 people laid off today.
I don't think people are really digesting yet the gravity of what Sweeney said in that. If he's telling the truth, that is a seismic shift in the reality of how this industry functions.
Well, we'll get to it, but I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. But
if Fortnite is not making money anymore,
gotcha,
and they get 30 million players on a weekly basis, like
there's definitely something wrong.
What's happening? Like, if I mean, I'll tell you this much. I mean, I know I've been saying it for over years at this point, but if I am a studio head and I'm working on a live service game and I see him say that, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Yeah.
What are we doing?
Seriously.
Like, what?
Yep, I hear you. Cinetyke says he burned out on Magic Arena a couple years ago. It does seem like people who play trading card games will do it, quit for a little while, come back.
It happens a lot, just because you can't keep up, especially with things like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Like, just it's constant. It's over and over. I mean, at least like one of the appealing things about Godzilla is it came out in July last year, so it's like a 90 cards per expansion, so it's very easy to keep up.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was watching Japanese players play, because much bigger in Japan.
Yeah.
And I realized I don't need any translation because I know what all the cards in the game do.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's never happened before.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Zet Saber thinks that my glow is what made the dresser look brighter
clearly.
in the background.
It really could be all the blue with the white. It could have been just a contrast causing an illusion.
Vincent says, so I'm guessing the latest, as you've coined it, the Shane Satterfield show was shot on a phone. It was, yeah. And that show is going to continue to be shot on a phone going forward. And we'll get it tuned in. It was a little heavy on the contrast this week. We'll get it all sorted out. It'll be better as we go forward. What phone did I get? I got the iPhone 17 Pro.
17, wow.
Yeah. The camera on this is insane. Look at it. Look, there's like 8 cameras on this thing. It's just freaking nuts. But
it's even wider than mine, I think.
Yeah, I'll have this phone for like 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally get a new phone every 5 to 7 years.
Square.
Yeah. Still, you have a big camera too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the 15 introduced these huge camera things.
So far, I love it. The thing I love the most is the battery life.
Yeah, the battery life is really what pushes me to get a new iPhone. Usually,
I also realized that I think Apple is borking old phones so that they don't get reception. So in my place with my iPhone 12, I was getting 1 or 2 bars. It was so bad, I would get on calls and they would drop. I take this new phone home, full 5 bars at all times. You can't tell me the antenna on my 12 was that bad.
I am definitely having that issue with the 15 these days in this house.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this wasn't a problem before, but now I got to go to a certain room to make a phone call.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I definitely believe there's something going on there. I may be a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying with my experience, that's the way it seems.
I mean, Apple doesn't go in on all the crazy hot trends, but they do believe in planned obsolescence.
They do.
And that goes way, way back to Edison.
Battery life and all that. Yep. Detox since 87 says, Greece from Germany. Love you guys. Love you too, Detox. What's going on, man? Hope life is good in Germany. Probably late night for you there right now, would be my guess. Yeah, I was using an iPhone 12 before this. It was awful. It finally got to the point where, and it was only 64 gigs. That was the worst too. It got to the point where I was like deleting apps to take photos. It's so bad. Let's see. Oh, Cinetyke says the dresser got the DLSS 5 treatment.
Oh, yeah.
That's good, Cinetyke.
Got glowed up.
Retro asking if we're going to cover Epic. We are talking about the layoffs at Epic today. Shadowist, thank you for Twitch Prime. Go Lakers, Shane. Yeah, I'm a 76ers fan. They're having a bit of a rough season. It's the only Philly team I root for, other than Temple, my alma mater. But otherwise, I'm a Pittsburgh fan. But Pittsburgh doesn't have an NBA team, so I root for the Sixers. My Philadelphia friends appreciate that because they've been trying to convert me to Eagles and Phillies and Flyers for like 20-some years, and it's just never going to happen. But I did give in, and I am a Sixers fan. And they're not good this year, unfortunately. Again, AJ the Legend, watch streak, 10-stream streak. Thank you very much, AJ. What else we got in here? Big Smoke 82, thank you for Twitch Prime. Anything else? I think that's it. Cinetyke, thank you for Twitch Prime. Getting in there, that's awesome. And Jason Johnson 148 is the last one for today. Thank you very much, Jason. Hope all you guys are doing awesome. Maybe some people... Oh, we got some bits here from somebody. Joaquim Dragoon, thank you for 200 bits, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. Thank you. Emperor Dread, thank you for Twitch Prime. I will say this. I should mention, our Twitch Prime did go up. We just got a payout like 2 days ago, and it did go up. So you guys listened to me, and some of you guys did subscribe. Thank you very, very much. Let's keep it going. Congrim 1, I have not, was planning day one, but we'll wait for patches and a discount. I'm going to talk about Dark Outlaw. What's that?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that, Ashes. I haven't heard of that game. So, no, we're not talking about it today, but send me a DM or something and put me on it, and I'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll cover it next week. What else we got here? Cinetype, please don't let Roblox be the last successful game as a service. It might be. Although I'd be happy with that, honestly. I wouldn't care what game it is, as long as there is a last game as a service.
Yeah, as long as it ends.
Yep. Andy T. Monahan says, did you see Maxwell is selling a new cassette player? I did not.
Yeah. They got
the kids
a little Walkman style
thing. Yeah, Gen Z is loving the cassettes for some reason. I still have an awesome cassette deck. Towards the end when cassettes were going out, my wife got it for my birthday. It's a really nice dual cassette head unit. And then I got it and cassettes went away. And the reason I had it is because we used to all us DJs used to record our sets on cassette. And we'd buy these, what were called steel cassettes that cost $25, and they had no hiss in them. And so you'd record your master set on that, and they were white or whatever and made out of steel. You'd record your master set on that, then you'd take it to a tape duplicator, and they'd use that master mix that you made to duplicate off of to make all the other mixes on cassette. So I am an old cassette head. In fact, Matt, I just sold a bunch of my old indie cassette tapes, like Joy Division, New Order, from the 80s, legit, factory record stuff from them. And they sold for an insane price. Mm-hmm. Insane.
Yeah, it's the new vinyl.
I sold this a year ago, and I sold 35 cassettes, and I got almost $800 or something insane. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it.
Because nobody kept those.
Yeah. Except for me. And then I got rid of them. So anyway, I'm all about the cassettes. I'm all about that cassette life. It's been a big part of my life throughout the years. Vincent says Dark Outlaw is the latest studio PlayStation closed. I didn't even see that.
No, I didn't see that.
I didn't even see that news. It closed another studio? Wow. I didn't even know. Thanks, Ashes. But they didn't do anything. So there's nothing to say.
Were they a support team or?
I think it was another one of those studios that Sony bought and kept around thinking they were going to make service games and maybe started a project and then canceled it and then I'm guessing just killed the studio. Vincent says it's the latest from the COD Zombies guy they already closed the first studio from. Okay.
Oof.
Ethan says Roblox has been losing money for a long time. Really? I didn't know that.
If everything's losing money,
why are they doing it?
What are we doing?
Seriously.
Capcom's over here
I know. Just flipping the money down. It's seriously. Rogerty, thank you for the bits, man. Appreciate that. What else we got in here? Is this some sort of new hipster thing? I'm not sure what he's talking about there.
Cassettes. He's talking about cassettes.
Oh, okay. Silk Snake says F Epic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, you didn't have to be here today for that.
I mean, we'll get to that. There's a whole...
Love your engines, don't like your businesses very much.
Yeah, there's all kinds of context around that whole thousand. We're going to get into it. It's going to be a great topic today, so try to stick around. What's up, Luna? Up on the table. That's awesome. Let's see. We got some housekeeping here before we get into 473 proper. The big news this week is that Xbox is having a partner direct on Thursday, March 26th, so in just 2 days. I think it's...
One last ride.
Yeah. So it's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and as always, if you go to sifted.net, we'll have it curated there. It will probably be pinned at the top of all your sifts. You won't be able to miss it on Thursday if you want to watch it. Go to sifted.net, people. If you're not doing it already, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, on Thursday, they already shared a couple of the things that they're going to show. One of them, that probably the thing that interests me the most, is Stranger Than Heaven, which is this crazy kind of beat 'em up from the Yakuza team. And we have 2 trailers for this so far. Both the trailers have been amazing and intriguing and really sucked me in. So I'm pretty excited to learn more about this game. I know you are too. You're a big Yakuza fan. You love this studio.
And it seems to be in the same universe.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically like Ishin, or they're doing the same thing where the characters sort of play different roles in another time era.
It almost looks like it's a time jumping game where you're jumping through different time periods.
I think you do jump through different eras of Japan's kind of mid-century history.
Yeah. It looks really cool. The combat in it looks cool too. Like the angles that they use are unlike any other game. Like this is a similar but a huge departure.
I'm gonna guess this is in part a reaction to Godzilla minus one.
Maybe
because it kind of did that same sort of period piece thing.
That's true. Yeah, it could be. But this game looks really, really cool, and I am definitely excited to get this instead of another Yakuza. I know that may piss off some people to hear that, but I mean, I'm ready for something new.
This is Yakuza.
It is.
It's the same thing. It's just a different setting, but it should be at least a little fresh in terms of an era we don't see very often, especially in that country.
Yeah, and then another game that Microsoft has shared that it's going to show is The Expanse: Osiris Reborn. Is that the one that what's his name is doing voice work for?
Yeah, McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. He's doing like a bunch of voice work, and he's involved in some other way too.
He's the main character, and he is some kind of producer on it. I think. I don't know in what capacity. And I'm pretty excited about. I mean, that's ex-Mass Effect people.
Yeah,
like, this is maybe the new Mass Effect,
which would be awesome.
And The Expanse is a very cool series, both book and show. So, pretty hard sci-fi, but not hard enough that it like bogs itself down. So it's like
nuance.
So I think Expanse is definitely one to keep your eye on.
Yep. And then the last game they mentioned is Stalker 2. Stalker 2 was an Xbox Game Pass PC exclusive. It is coming to PlayStation 5 very soon. So my guess is they're going to blow out the PlayStation 5 version, and then they'll probably talk, because I think there's a big update that's launching on the same day.
Yeah, there would have to be.
Yeah. Other than the console stuff, I think there's a content update that also launches the same day.
But I mean, in the sense that game didn't work right.
Yeah.
So
it's needed updates for sure. Yeah. And so my guess is they're going to show the PS5 version and the big update that's going to launch alongside the PlayStation 5 version.
All right. The Mass Effect dev is Exodus.
That game also is really looking like Mass Effect.
Exodus is the one with McConaughey.
Oh, is it?
Isn't it?
I'll be honest. I get
both
these two games. I get both these games confused.
Yeah, they are similar.
I mix them both up all the time. Japanese dude says Stalker 2 has been out for PS5 for months. So I missed that somehow, I guess. Thank you, Japanese dude. I thought for sure it hadn't come out yet. But there is a big update coming for it soon.
Expanse is the Owlcat games. That's why it's exciting, because of the people who made Rogue Trader.
Right. Yep. So anyway, those are the 3 games that they've talked about. Now here's the thing, Matt. I think what we're seeing here is if these are the 3 games that they're promoting before the event, we're excited for a couple games.
They're probably not mainstream. I mean, Expanse has potential because people have heard of that. But in general, this feels like you're finishing some contracts out.
I mean, it feels like this is kind of the beginning of the end for Xbox's events as far as having third-party stuff that people actually care about.
Why would you?
Because why would a third party ever put a big game in an Xbox presentation?
Konami's not going to debut the new Metal Gear Solid at Capcom's event.
Yeah.
So they're just a publisher now, really.
Yeah. So it's like, is there interest in this stuff going forward? These partner directs, any of this Xbox stuff? I mean, first party stuff, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just going to be first party. They're another publisher now.
Yeah. Except they will still focus on stuff from other publishers, with most publishers won't do.
Whoever they've got like deals with, but it's still gonna be on everything, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, unless a game's gonna be on Game Pass, there's really no reason for you to do anything with Microsoft going forward. Everything is now gonna be either in Nintendo's Directs or Sony's State of Play.
Like, you want to keep a relationship with them because you're gonna have to run your game on Windows.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, so. That's a big shift for sure. Although now we're hearing stuff from Asha Sharma that they may be going back to the old model a little bit. I don't know. Who knows what's going on over there? Not enough information came out of GDC from that stuff. At least that's how I feel. And I'm talking to Pactor, who went to GDC. He feels the same way. He's like,
they know yet.
He's like, nobody was talking about Xbox at all at GDC. So,
I mean, A, I don't think they know yet, and B, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
anymore. It's still hard to get.
I mean, you're standing at the finish line being like, what's the guy in third place doing all
Pretty
the way
much.
down? I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of where we're at. Yep. So anyway, Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, the newest, whatever you want to call it, partner or whatever from Xbox. Probably not going to be that great if these are the 3 headliners. So
I mean, those all seem pretty great. Well, I don't know about Stalker 2. I didn't love Stalker 2.
Yeah, I mean, Stalker 2's been out for a while.
The other 2 I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I want to see those 2 games for sure. But if these are the headliners, for the average person.
I don't give a shit about the average person. The average person doesn't watch these.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the viability. I mean, the average person who watches these, even for those people, I think this stuff is pretty...
I don't know. I think the average people who watch, like, directs and things like that are pretty interested in those two games. That is your audience.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you'd expect to see Stranger Than Heaven in a PlayStation state of play more.
Yeah.
Just because they have that relationship with Sega, but I don't know.
I think you're right, though. I think that was probably a deal that they signed with Xbox a while ago, and they're just fulfilling that contract.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I mean, the Yakuza team has worked pretty closely with Xbox in the past. I mean, they got all those games on Xbox back before anyone was getting stuff like that on Xbox. There's a relationship there.
Yep.
So I'm sure they're just finishing out whatever they have.
Yeah.
And that'll be that.
Yep. All right, that does it for the housekeeping for episode 473. Before we get into the main show, it's time to hear a word from our sponsor, the awesome LS Cream. It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter, Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink crémasse, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right, sifters. Cream-ass, dead-ass! And get yourself some LS Cream. If you followed what I said last week and got yourself a bottle for St. Patrick's Day, I'm hoping you still have a little left. I'm not going to judge if you don't, if you drank the whole thing on St. Patrick's Day. But if you do, now's the time to shift gears and start working on your ultra secret drink to enter into the LS Cream 5K challenge. Create your own drink, take a picture, put it up on Instagram, tag LS Cream, and you could win $5,000 USD in the LS Cream 5K challenge. If you're wondering about this, they've already given away tons of prizes, mostly in Canada so far. So this is totally legit. Somebody is going to win $5,000 in the LS Cream 5K challenge. Get on over there. Enter at creamls.com/sifted. All right, we're going to kick things off with easily the biggest game release of the week. It's Crimson Desert. It is an open world action RPG. And Matt, I guess the best way I could start this discussion, usually we start the discussion with the plot or whatever, but I think this game's a little different. Actually, it's a lot different in that it is sort of this amalgamation of every open world action RPG that I have played since Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. It has Breath of the Wild elements.
Before that, I'd say, because it's definitely trying to take some things from
Witcher.
3.
You're right. You're right. Maybe Witcher 3 is a point where it starts. Witcher 3...
It's like the last 10 years of open world RPGs, like, mushed together into a giant box and then baked 30 minutes too little.
Yeah,
and then you bite into it and the middle's raw. And you're like, what was that?
Yep. It has The Witcher. It has Breath of the Wild. It has Red Dead Redemption 2. Mm-hmm. It has Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm. And you will clearly see all these influences. It's not hidden. I mean, it's just blatant.
It's all right there.
This game...
And it has Black Desert Online, which is their own
Right,
MMO.
Which is their own game. Which, fair enough. That's okay. I mean, it's okay to borrow elements from other games anyway.
Sure.
That's what every game does. For whatever reason, in this game, the camouflage is horrible. Like, you just see that all these things are put in there, and they don't necessarily, like, work with the other parts of the game very well.
And there's also, like, there's some concepts they take from these games that just haven't been done in other games. And, like, Tears of the Kingdom's kind of the only game that has done the thing where there's a floating island continent in the sky you can jump off of and drop back down to the rest of the main game, and this game does that. And you're like, well, obviously this is Tears of the Kingdom because that's the only other game that's ever done that, really. It feels like it's so weird. It's so weird.
If somebody told me, hey, this is the first video game that was ever made 100% with AI, I would believe it.
There is an element of that where it's like mashed everything together.
Where they just went into a prompt and said, make an open world action RPG with all these games in it. And this is what the AI spit out.
Like, I would not maybe be wholly surprised if that was how they got their like baseline design document.
Right.
Clearly, it's not like you wouldn't be able to make something this intricate without humans.
I mean, I'm not saying they actually use AI
like,
to make it. Like, humans made this.
Every once in a while, I think the script might have been written by it. Because it's so weird.
Well, they have found art in the game that is
almost
AI.
all the wall art in the game is AI generated.
And are we to the point now, Matt, where we are just going to blindly accept the excuse of, that was an oversight. Placeholder.
Was it a first off, for placeholders, you should really use things that are very obviously not final.
Right. Like, it shouldn't even be related to what you're doing.
Like, a bunch of those paintings are collectibles.
Right.
So you didn't look at your collectible paintings before you shipped the game? I mean,
it's a lie.
I'm sure.
I think most of these developers are lying.
I think most of the time that is incorrect. Or just like, I mean, I do believe, I mean, most of them are sort of a close enough sort of thing, unless you look carefully at them, that they're also so bad that I would think they were generated probably 2 years ago at least. So they've probably been in there for a long time and just no one sees them anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
that could be. They're like, we're done with that or whatever.
Like, hey, we can do it like this. It's okay, well, we'll fix it later. And then like, no, you know, you don't notice that the guy riding the horse is part of the horse on that one painting unless you like walk by it the first time and you're like, what the hell is going on over there? And it's but like one of the things I got was a collectible. It's supposed to be a painting of the castle, the first castle in the first area. A, it looks nothing like that castle, and B, the castle in it is like 3 stories merged into a hill, and the bottom story is part of the third story. And I'm like, okay, clearly AI generated. Like, that's not a real. And I was like, well, I've seen people like, well, I mean, there's stuff that looks that, you know. I'm like, yeah, like stuff from like the early 20th century. I don't think they're going for like absurdist modernism in your medieval and like medieval. Yeah, it doesn't look at medieval stuff. It doesn't. It's clearly just a mistake.
Well, this whole game feels like it's every medieval trope, like also mashed up into one game. Again, it just feels like it
until the Assassin's Creed first civilization people show up.
Yeah, because there's also this supernatural angle to the game where you go to this.
That's one thing I can't figure out how common supernatural stuff is in this world, because most of the world seems to feel like a gritty kind of like Game of Thrones style. Everybody's barely making it by, sort of like medieval, like, you know, like medieval Ren Fair world. But there's like dwarves and giants walking around.
Goblins that they call goblins.
Yeah, and all the giants, like, or maybe they're ogres or trolls. I'm not sure what they don't really explain that. But they're all
anything in this game.
They're all walking around, and you're like, oh, look at that huge dude. Like, he's like, you know, all the armor, and he's carrying like a wagon on his back. Yeah. It's like, hello, how are you doing today? It's like, oh, that's not what I thought your voice was going to sound like.
I also thought I was going to fight those creatures constantly. Like,
no,
you don't.
Only if they're in the bandit group you need to fight, because what you're going to fight in this game is bandits.
Lots of bandits. Lots of the bandits. Yeah, what you're seeing right now is pretty much what you do in combat.
Yeah, you're going to fight a lot of bandits.
Yeah.
We love fighting bandits.
Yeah.
And everyone say, oh, a new enemy. No, it's just a different kind of bandit.
Yep. Yep. Let's talk about the plot in this. So you play initially as this character that's made of stone named Cliff. He literally might be the least charismatic protagonist in a video game, maybe ever.
I think they're trying to do like a Geralt thing, but they're not really pulling it off.
No, they're not.
It doesn't help that he barely talks.
Nope.
Like,
well, maybe it's better that he doesn't.
And
talk.
It's so weird because he does have dialogue. Like, you don't choose his responses, but he does have dialogue in cutscenes.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you'll do like a quest, and it's a quest for like the main storyline. It's not like a side thing. And you'll go up and you'll like deliver something, and someone's like, wow, we're really out of this thing. We need more of this thing. And you're like, hand it over. It's like, this is for us? Why would you give us this? Oh, the gray man? Like, he doesn't say anything, but like, they act like you just said something, like you're the silent protagonist in a JRPG, and it's just like, well, does he talk or not? Like, what are you doing?
Yep. Well, the plot in this is, again, you play as this made of stone character named Cliff. He is
of course he's made of stone. He's a cliff.
That's a good point, actually.
Like, there's a little bit of awareness, it seems like.
And he's a part of this group called the Greymanes, who have been kind of like the good guys in the kingdom all along.
Yeah, there's 2 factions now that the king died, and the Greymanes are sort of like the loyalists, like like upstanding noble knights, except they're also like free swords.
Yeah.
And then there's the Black Bears, who are like big caveman thugs.
And
Like
that's who you're watching right now.
it ain't subtle.
Yeah.
Let's put it that
so
way.
they come into your village and basically murder everybody.
And early on, they don't don't explain anything early on. So it's just like they're like yeah, we got those damn bears. I'm like, I thought they were,
Like
we're just
bears.
fighting actual bear. I'm like, oh my god, there's bears killing everybody. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so they come to the village, they kill all the Greymanes, they throw your character Cliff into perfect
Off the
timing,
cliff,
off the
yeah.
cliff and into the water.
And like stab, throat
Dead.
cut off the cliff,
He's dead.
off the waterfall. Man's dead.
Here he is falling in the water, and some magical thing on his
Yeah.
wrist kicks in.
Magitech.
And I'm not sure what happens here. Is he revived from the dead? Was he never dead?
He's revived from the dead by these people.
And then
from
he appears
this,
here.
from this like from this sky world alternate universe called the Abyss, which is weird because it's in the sky.
Yeah.
And it's not part of this universe, but it is basically being mushed into the universe. And if Cliff doesn't help them stop it, it will end all of reality.
Yeah.
And like it's slowly and the result is that the Abyss sort of like hangs above the game world, like the Sky World and Tears of the Kingdom, and every once in a while does drop blocks on thing like and Cliff they give him like basically Magitech powers, and they don't explain themselves. They're very mysterious about things, and
they don't explain how to jump either.
And well, they do. It does it right there. You do have this weird precision jump.
you aim your
You
jump.
can aim the jumps if you don't want to like try to do the platforming freehand, which is actually a pretty good idea for games like this where you haven't
the jumping is so awkward.
yeah,
and
because you
weird.
haven't like figured out how to. I mean, that's where the Dark Souls is the jumping. So like basically he is kind of their envoy, and they give him the ability to like glide, so you can
like
fall,
Zelda.
so you can fall from really high. Except he grows like horrifying crow wings.
Yeah.
And no one ever says anything
No.
about it, because that's what I don't get. Is like he is like growing crow wings and using force push and like using this weird like grapple arm on his wrist that is very similar to the way Link moves stuff around in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
But he manipulates stuff like that right in front of everyone, and no one really reacts to it.
No.
And
They're like, oh, okay.
And once in a while you run like early on, and like there's things going on like that in the world. There's this weird reflect sunlight trick that like comes up more often than you would think.
Than I would want.
You can cook meat with that. Did you know that?
I mean,
It's so odd. And actually the only other game that this reminds me of, Ultima. The old Ultimas with their like excessive freedom but refusal to sort of finish polishing the gameplay. I am reminded of Ultima 9 Ascension like 4 times a play session in this game.
Wow. I
That's
picked
not
up on
a
that one,
compliment, by the way. But it does remind me of just the way Ultima always wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
You wanted to be able to do everything, had to be down to the minute, right down to putting stuff in bags in your bag. That happens in this game.
Yeah.
Like you,
No, you're right.
you eventually get these pots that can hold anything in them, so they're inventory storage inside your inventory storage, and figuring out how to get something from your inventory into the pot or from the world into the pot and then get it back out of the pot is just as confusing as trying to play Ultima 7 in 2026. So that's why Ultima is one of my other touchstones for this game.
Well, eventually you set up a camp just like Red Dead Redemption 2, and it
Yeah.
actually looks just like the camp.
It's very similar. Red Dead Redemption is actually a really good compare in the sense of how. I mean, look, after you complete a quest, he's just sort of sitting down, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
You have to talk to everybody, and you build trust with everyone every time you talk to them once a day. You can get up and walk around. The controls are weird and inertia driven. I mean, it's exactly like Red Dead Redemption
is.
2, except no one is an interesting character.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't talk to anybody. There's no incidental dialogue between people. You don't get to know. I mean, you know who their baseline guy. But like, there's like, I know the one guy in the Greymanes who's like the drunk asshole. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Basically, he's the Micah of this, except he's like got 1% of the personality of Micah. And I hate the fact that like I wasn't even all that into the story in Red Dead Redemption 2 most of the time until later in the game.
Yeah,
but like this game
up.
is really. I'm like, wow, I was too hard on Red Dead Redemption 2 in that regard. Like I know more about everybody in Arthur's camp after like 20 minutes than I know after 30 hours of this game.
Yeah.
And you're basically supposed to gather the Greymanes again, And
after you are brought back to life, your goal becomes to get the Greymanes
reunite
back
the Greymanes
together.
Because everyone's apparently still alive. For some,
they
really looked like they were dead.
Like all of them were dead. Yeah.
Like they only very explicitly show Cliff get cut up, but like it didn't seem like anybody made it out.
I mean, it shows other people getting stabbed in the heart and stuff. Like, I definitely thought they were all dead.
And I'm just like, was this other characters? And I did, but then like characters I do remember from like the brief scenes in there's like a dinner scene where they sort of establish this guy's the dick, this guy's the new guy, that she's trying to like keep the peace but wants to punch people. Like it's like I don't know everybody's name. But
the other thing too is that you don't play as Cliff through the whole game. Like around the 10-hour-ish mark, maybe a little later, you get like a girl. And every new character that you play as is just as wooden and
there's nothing there.
Forgetful is Cliff. Like
you get Cliff, you get her, and you get judging by the cover art, you get the ogre looking guy who's in the Greymanes band at the beginning of the game, and you don't see him for like 40 hours.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he was killed in the opening.
He did definitely look like he was. Yeah. No, he ran off. No, he runs off.
You're right. He did run off.
He you save him and say get away, and he runs off.
Yeah,
because he's stabbed in the leg or something.
Just so you know, before we go any further, all this B-roll was captured on a base PlayStation 5. Just so you know,
looks pretty good.
It does still look pretty good.
I'm playing on my 4090. It is running. Once I turn the DLSS and everything on, it does run at about 100 frames a second with everything maxed out. It has awful ground clutter pop in.
Yeah, you just saw it right. You can see it right there. Yeah,
awful. I had to restart it last night because it got worse. Like
really?
all the stuff on tables and shelves started popping in 5 feet away from me. I'm like, okay, we're not going to look at this anymore. The ground clutter pop-in is terrible on all the platforms, no matter how high up you turn everything. There's nothing you can do about it.
But otherwise, it is a very pretty game.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean...
it's believable forest. They did a really good job making everything feel like a lived-in location. You can talk to almost everybody. You can't do anything, talk to them about anything meaningful. You can just sort of greet them and they'll say something. There's a very weird system of where sometimes people just talk about stuff and you overhear it, and sometimes you got to talk to them directly. Sometimes you got to hold left bumper to target them and talk to them, and then sometimes you just hold X to talk to them spontaneously.
It doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason.
There's very little consist. Like every time it gives me a new thing I can do, I have no idea how to do it.
I don't either.
And at one point,
lots of times I'm like, I know I need to do this, but I've forgotten how to do it.
And nothing even the combat doesn't make sense because normally games that have combat, action combat, like you get, okay, so the buttons that are related to combat are like this, and if I hold this is a modifier for that, and that's a thing that does a harder attack, and you kind of get your head around, and if they give you new moves, you're like, oh, I bet if I hold this and press these, that's what'll happen. This game doesn't, sometimes it's left bumper, sometimes it's right trigger, sometimes it's right bumper, sometimes it's two buttons together, sometimes it's hold. that thing where you reflect sunlight with the sword, you do that by pressing the two bumpers.
I forgot how to do that.
Then letting go of the left bumper and continuing to hold the right bumper, and then aiming with the left stick while holding the right bumper. And if you press anything else, you pull your fucking bow out. And there's no way to put the bow back after you've pulled an arrow out. There's no way to put the bow down unless you just dodge roll and cancel it.
I have to cancel it.
It's so weird.
The dodge roll doubles as the circle button, and the square button in this is used for like 8 different freaking things. So I try to pick up stuff and my character starts jumping. Like it's just
hop. You can't really do the thing where like some games where like if you use that you can, because you have to hold it to intentionally like let the circle fill to pick something up. And usually when things like, especially if you're like picking up a bunch of like things in the same place, you got a bunch of gold, you hold the button, and when it's done picking one thing up, it picks the next thing up. This game does not do that. Once it's done picking the one thing up, Cliff just starts hopping up and down until you re-aim the stupid dot
at the exact
thing. And unless you're too close, and you got to back up a bit, and then he's turned around because he's got to turn around. Then you got to turn back around, but in the animation of his inertia of turning back around might put you too close to the thing.
Just the running in this, like you tap X to like run, and it's like you keep tapping it, you'll sprint, but also it feels like if you tap it like twice, it sets it at a speed.
Yeah, if you tap it twice, you run, you kind of...
At a trot, kind of.
You run it faster. You're running, and it's using stamina, but you can run faster if you tap A in addition to that in the right rhythm, like a Rockstar game.
Instead of just clicking a stick or just...
And then the horse works completely different.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is like because of the way he moves, it makes more sense to tap A or X twice as you take off moving to get over his inertia.
Yeah.
If you do that with the horse, once you get like familiarity level 4 or higher with the horse rears up and does a speed boost run, which will run over people and make them try to kill you. And so I always forget when I'm on the horse that I don't want to do that. And I just mess up. The inconsistency is amazing. And like, I don't get, one of the things they did in the update they did a couple days ago is there's fast travel points where you have to like find these the Magitech things, you stand on them and they become a teleport portal.
Yeah.
They added a whole bunch more of them in the game in the latest update. Also, you can tell that character's magical because they're clean.
Yeah.
They added a bunch more teleports because there weren't enough, and they added the ability. Originally, you had this private chest in wherever you're in your tent, or eventually it's in the camp. And that's where if you have a fight and you don't pick up the loot, or like it's a quest and like you go straight to a cutscene, all the loot from the people who you killed will just end up in that chest back home. But you couldn't put any of your gear to store. You were stuck with this. Your inventory was just always full because you couldn't store anything.
Yeah.
And so in the latest update, they added tons more teleport pads, and they let you store stuff in the chest now.
Why? Because I first set up my
the only
camp,
thing you need. And they're like, oh, we've heard your feedback, and I'm like, the only thing you needed to do to know those two things had to be done is to let a human being play this game.
I know, seriously.
Like, I don't know who the fuck in the playtesting group was not saying, hey, I should be able to put my shit in this fucking giant box.
Like, I couldn't believe it. We finally set up the camp, and they're like, oh, there's a storage bin. I'm like, thank God.
And they say it's a storage.
My inventory has been full for 3 freaking hours.
And you can't even do like the Skyrim thing
where you can't put your stuff in it.
You can't even do the Skyrim thing where you put everything in like a cabinet somewhere.
No.
Like you can't do anything about that.
It feels like not only was this game made by AI, it feels like it was tested by AI as well in some cases. Like,
I'm not gonna go that far because it is better than
I'm
that.
joking about it. I'm not being serious.
But you can't joke about that anymore because it's coming.
You're right, it is coming. Yeah.
It's weird. And like you're constantly trying to figure out like, okay, what do you want me to do now? And like the way the side items like the broom and the mining pick and the
figure out how to pull
they
the broom
they all
out.
come out of that thing up there, which is also where you become unarmed. Like you can't actually unequip your sword. You have to just activate unarmed combat as your secondary weapon.
Yep. I know.
What?
There's just all kinds of goofy stuff like that.
This is what I mean when it's like a Korean studio intentionally made a Eurojank game from like 2007.
Well, it's like this side mission right here. Like they're like, hey, clear out the chimney or whatever. You go and pick up a broom. You go to that menu, that radio menu. The broom's not there. So you have to go into your inventory and then put it into that radio menu and then go slay. It's like, no, like there are so many.
But then after that, it is in the radio menu forever.
Yeah.
Whether it's equipped or not.
This game breaks many basic rules of game design and game development that it makes it hard to play. You can't really assume anything about it.
The interface is very hard to deal with.
Yeah.
It is, and in every respect.
I mean,
like,
the traversal
moving
stuff,
him,
the walking, the jumping, it's just all goofy.
Okay.
Like, it's just... And all this... Here's the thing. They've borrowed so many things from other games, but they didn't borrow the most obvious stuff.
Yeah, why didn't you borrow, like, functional controls?
Yeah. Like, what is the purpose of changing the controls?
And why
There's no reason for it.
So, like, to learn things and to, like, get things in your knowledge base, you generally need to look at them. Like, you have to, like, look at stuff, or you'll learn new moves that way.
Yeah.
You'll let you read things that way. But you can't learn what a candle is unless you pick it up. Why?
Why
can't I just look at it?
It's so inconsistent.
There's no consistency to it.
And when you're trying to build your knowledge base to get better at the game, it becomes very, very frustrating.
Sometimes you can walk into a house and pick up a piece of paper that has a recipe on it, and nobody cares. Sometimes you'd have to steal it.
Yeah. But there's no rhyme or reason
I don't know why one is the other.
Explain why.
One time I found a cave that was full of treasure. Tons of treasure chests everywhere. And like all this stuff, and like gold ore, like you could like mine it. And there's gold bars. There's literally gold bars on the ground, and you can't interact with them. I'm like, why can't I pick up the gold bar? Because there's actually believe it or not, there's a bank system in this game where you can, if you have extra money, you can invest and buy gold bars that then accrue investment interest over time, and they'll pay you out. Period. Like you can basically get passive income in this game through investing with this like ogre bank. And like they do it in terms of having gold bars. I'm like, oh, can I pick these gold bars up and is that how I get enough money to take? Because it costs a ton of money to do that, and I don't have anywhere near that much right now. But no, you can't interact with the like. It's literally a pile of gold, and he won't look at it.
Pick it up.
It's so weird.
It
but,
could just
but
be
he
a
will
bug.
But he will. No, it's not. They're
not?
not. They're background. It's not an interactable object.
Okay.
You can tell it's part of
Because
the
here's the other thing:
environment.
is like there's so much crap on the ground. Like you can see these specks that don't look like anything. That's money. Mm-hmm. If you actually put the cursor over it, it's coins that you can pick up. Like,
but they're also. It's not worth picking them up because
it's
they're
worth
not
nothing.
worth
It's
enough
like a 1/10
to
of
warrant
a-
the amount of time it takes to aim at them.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say, if you can
Here's the camp, by the way.
if you can think of an arthropod, you can pick it up in this game. Like,
Oh yeah, catching insects is a big.
there are 47 butterfly species in this game.
Wow.
Maybe it's 49. It's
Why
40
would you
something.
spend your time
Someone
doing
on this
that?
team loves butterflies.
Yeah.
There's like 40 some butterflies.
Beetles,
There's 7 beetles. There's
centipedes.
like 4 spiders. There's 3 centipedes. There's like, and you use them all for alchemy and making like they're all for something.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of animals you can like I have picked up every kind of animal you can think of. It's so weird because like you can pick up cats and pet them,
Yep.
and you can pet dogs and feed cats and dogs. And
Carry
like
pigs.
you pick up the carry pigs around for no good reason.
Yeah.
You can make, if the cats or dogs trust you up to 100%, you can make them your pet.
Yeah.
And then they'll run around and pick up loot for you when you have a fight.
Yeah.
Which is actually useful because everyone's like, oh, they don't differentiate between good and bad loot. I'm like, neither do I.
Yeah.
I don't know what's good or bad before I pick it up.
I don't either.
So yeah, but if I don't have to use this stupid cursor to aim at every single corpse on the ground and the cat's just going to pick it up for me, great. You can dress them up in clothing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things in the game is like I found a giant fat cat that when I identified it as a loafy cat. And I'm like, perfect.
All right.
Perfect. I'm going to feed you until you come home with me.
Yeah.
So well done there. Everything else is a little odd.
Yeah. I mean, stuff is.
And this is the thing where once you have your camps up, you have people you can manage. You can send people out on missions. You can expand the camp. You just like Red Dead Redemption 2, except in Red Dead Redemption 2, you were like just giving them money.
Yeah.
And in this, you can give them you have a stockpile of arms. You have a stockpile of goods. You have a stockpile of raw materials. And then you can send those out to other places. You can take raw materials and have the guy who works the provisions thing at your camp package them up into packages and send them out on trade caravans because there's trade routes that are shown on the map everywhere. There's factions that control every single part of the. I mean, it's just there's so much
insane.
here, and none of it works quite right.
And it's not fun. None of it's fun or engaging or interesting. It's
so-
all stuff that you've seen in other games, but has been done better in the other games.
It's never quite been put together this way,
Right.
and I do enjoy it mostly, but it's frustrating because it all should be. I say a lot of times that something's more than the sum of its parts. This is less than the sum of its parts.
Way less.
And I do think that like in another year, that might not be true because
Yeah.
they are very responsive. With Black Desert Online, they've been very responsive to player feedback, and they've said they're going to do the same with this. I bet in a year this game's going to be something pretty cool.
Well, they also sold 3 million units in like 4 days.
Right,
So,
so
they made their money.
they have their incentive
They have
to
the
keep
money
it
to
going.
keep working on it and making it better. Like it's could
And
be
more
another
expansion,
Cyberpunk
more content, more stuff.
2077.
I think you'll get more content for this than we did from. I think you can get more than one expansion.
Oh, I
out of this
agree. Yeah.
one. And just like things that like nothing is really explained very well, like
Or at all.
I think it was 10 hours before I realized I was doing combat wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was tapping the button like a
normal
like a
combat
fucking video
system.
game, right? Like I hit a button every time I wanted to do an attack. It turns out you just hold the button down.
You hold R1 on PlayStation,
R1
and
or-
you'll just
or
transition
R2,
from one enemy to the next.
And then you can switch between them, but you just keep holding things, and that's just what he
goes
does.
to town.
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's a lot easier, isn't it?
It makes the game a pushover,
Yeah.
a joke, honestly. Even the bosses in this aren't very difficult. Like, I may
I
have
think
to
that
fight a boss like twice in
The
this.
the one boss in the quarry was hard, I thought, because you never fought anything like that before.
Yeah. I think I only died once, though.
But once you figure out that, like, because one of the things it doesn't explain to you very well is that you can use your, like, magical abilities in combat.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is important. Like, okay, I don't know how he pissed that whole town off there. but-
They're all coming for him.
And there's weird little thing, like the girl you get early on. It seems like she's kind of useless because, like, I don't like her fighting style. She fights with a rapier and a pistol, and like you'd think range combat would be really cool here.
It's so
and it's
weak.
not because you have to upgrade it. But that means not using the artifacts you get to upgrade Cliff, which Cliff
Right.
is a stronger fighter close up, which is where you're going to do most of your fighting because everybody closes in on you so fast.
Yeah.
But she is dressed in the clothing of the enemy nation, which means that. So I found this out the hard way because I was up in the sky trying to solve puzzles up there when I got enough glide stamina that I could like go to do other places and fun because you get good stuff.
Because the stamina is like Zelda. You use stamina to climb stuff and to glide.
To do everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you need stamina for every blocking. It's very very Zelda based. It's even kind of depicted.
It's got the same exact
spiral
icon
thing,
almost. Yeah.
There's cold and wet and hot weather, the whole deal. Clothing matters, etc. Yep. And so I was, there's a lot of platforming sections of those sky things, and I screwed something up and I fell down, and I was off. I'd taken some weird laser teleport thing off to a whole other side of the map, and so I fell down into an area that I hadn't been anywhere, like probably 6 kilometers east of anywhere I'd ever been. I'd never been anywhere like it, and and I'm not kidding, I landed in the middle of a war. Like, geez. It was a shooting war between people with firearms. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I just had to run. I'm just like, okay, horse, because you have a magic horse that literally... I love that they don't even disguise. Like, the horse just teleports in. Just bonk.
Well, here's the thing, man.
And no one cares.
I didn't even know I had a horse. Like, so in the beginning, you get on the horse and you ride. I didn't realize that I then had a horse. Like,
he does say you get to keep that one.
I thought he just gave it to me for that little section of the game. And then, like, 2 or 3 hours in, I accidentally hit up on the D-pad and the horse appears. I'm like, oh my god, I've had the horse this whole freaking time. Because it doesn't go through the whole scene like most games do where you go to the stable.
It does not have a thing that teaches you.
Pick the horse and you learn how to ride it. Like, it's just, again, it does things so differently from every other game in some ways.
And like,
but in other ways, it does everything like every other game.
Yeah, it's very hard, and hard to know when it's doing one or the other.
Yeah, it's really hard to read.
So I had to run away and basically flee the country because I'm not kidding. Every single NPC in the whole area was red.
Was going at
I'm like, what? They're fighting each other, but they all hated me for some reason. I don't know what.
You're the dude that fell out of the sky.
You're the guy who fell out of the sky. Kill him. And so but then later I realized that, she is from there, so they won't attack her because she's dressed like, they think she's one of them. Yeah. Even though she's supposed to be a refugee because everyone in that country wants to kill her.
Right.
And I'm like, well, okay, what? Yeah. And like, that's also, so the taming the horse thing is also hilarious because the instruction you get is that you should hold the left stick in the direction of the horse's tail. Which, I mean, it's true. It is accurate that, like, you have to, but, like, what a vague way to do that,
That's a good way to describe this game, vague.
Yeah.
It's vague in pretty much everything.
Like, you go into these things and you're like, I'm like, can I do this? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Like, because there's no level scaling, so, like, you might, that's what happened to me in that shoot. Like, I was, normally a hit from something, when at that point in the game was taking maybe, like, 1/10 of my life off, a hard hit. One bullet shot from this was getting half my life down. And I'm like, I need to get out of here real fast. Right now. So you just don't know what you're walking into, and the leveling up doesn't make you more powerful. It just there is no level up system. Yeah. You just like you get these artifacts. You spend artifacts to upgrade your skill tree, and upgrading this certain elements of the skill tree makes your attack stronger or makes etc. So that's not super difficult to piece together, but like, early on, it's hard to understand why you're not able to tank a hit or do enough damage. And
I think there's so many things in this game that are hard to understand.
I just need to point out, this stuff is not easy to do because you're pressing the left stick in midair and you're doing. I mean, this is
the controls.
I don't know. Someone practiced this for a long time. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm like using the claw to like rotate stuff.
No, I don't want to do that again.
You gotta like, it's gotta be in the exact place. And it's gotta like the targeting reticle changes to a different shade of blue-green, and that's how you know you can actually interact with something. Early on, here's a pro tip: when they first teach you how to use that, you're up in the sky area, and they're like, hit the center of the thing and do and like rotate it to like to activate the thing. And you hit the thing and you can't move it because the thing other times you were using it, you had to like pull it back and forth. Yeah. And it turns out that this time, you have to hold, once you're attached, if you're attached to the right part of the thing, you have to hit the part, a little circle that turns the lighter color. Then you have to hold the left trigger, and then it pops up a prompt to turn the thing, it just says control left or right on the D-pad instead of the right stick, which is how you move things left and right
Everywhere
every
else.
other time you use that claw thing to do stuff. What?
That's basic. It's just a failure of basic game design. It really is.
Yeah.
Like it's the inability of teaching the player everything that the player needs to know to make progress in your game.
And I'll say, I love everything this game's trying to do. Like as an open world fan,
me too.
There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, if this all worked right, this would be one of my all-time favorite games. I'd be doing those wrestling moves and collapsing towers under them. I mean, there's a lot of cool ideas in this. None of it works quite right. And you can get there, but after you finish with it, you're just sort of like annoyed. And I feel like the day may come when that's not true.
Maybe.
But right now,
I mean, here's the thing.
You are meeting this game halfway doesn't even get you 2/3 of the way there.
This game is so freaking big that it could literally take 20 years to fix all that stuff. It really could.
I don't know, because like a lot of the stuff they need to fix is just in the basic interaction and controls.
That's a big part of it, but there's just so many little things. Like there were some parts of this game where I had to go to YouTube to figure out how to get unstuck, and they were just the dumbest things, and sometimes it was just a bug. Like when you first go to the camp and everybody has built the camp and you need to make the meal for them to thank them for building the camp or whatever. The recipe that you need is sitting on the table there, and I couldn't pick it up. I would pick it up and it would not appear in his hands, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Do I need to do something first? So I went through this whole process of like putting stuff in the pot. Do I need to like pre-do stuff? And eventually nothing worked. I went and just watched a clip on YouTube, and it was just a bug. Like, he's just supposed to pick up the recipe, and he didn't. And I wasted, like, 30 minutes trying. And then there was another thing in a cave where, like, things just didn't work the way they're supposed to. I spent, like, 45 minutes on that for no reason, just because the game was busted. Like, the game crashed, like, 3 or 4 times on me. And I mean, crashed.
I have never had it crash. I will say that.
On my PS5, it crashed, I think, 5 times. And I mean crashed. Like, restarted, the PS5 crashed. Not like, hey, do you want to send a video file showing this bug? No, like literally like melted down the PlayStation 5 and shut it down.
Also, like that shot with the dragon flying, you're like, oh, that camera angle's really dramatic. No, that's just what they fucking do.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't auto center behind your mount.
No.
You have to babysit the camera, but you have to keep tapping A or X to keep riding at a decent speed. Also, anytime you have to ride with another NPC, like they don't go as fast as you
They're
go.
always slow.
Why don't you have the thing like in Red Dead or Witcher where you just hold the button and you keep speed with the NPC while the conversation plays out? It's ridiculous.
I can just go on and on.
There's things like this where you're supposed to take
stuff.
back territory, and a key part of taking back territory, which they do not tell you in the large areas, is you have to destroy the key buildings.
Yep.
Did you know if you just hit a building with your sword enough, it will fall over?
Yeah.
That's literally how you, because otherwise there's a percentage thing, and every time you kill a guy in this one area I got to pretty early on, but it was like I had to liberate a quarry. Every time I killed a guy, the percentage went down 0.01%, and then it would build back up. So if I didn't kill like 14 guys a minute, I was losing ground. I'm like, how do I do it? And then I accidentally destroyed the timber mill, and it lost like a third of its. I'm like, oh, I gotta actually destroy building. No one told me I could. No one told me I could destroy buildings. No one told me I should destroy buildings. No one said that the buildings were part of this whole thing. I mean, if you wanted me to take back your quarry, I would have assumed you would want the timber mill intact, right?
That's what I'm talking about, though. Every one
but otherwise,
of these little elements.
It's
need
like
work
Gauntlet.
on it.
They just spew enemies out infinitely, and there's no way to win it unless you figure that out. And I guess some people might think that's cool, like discovery thing you had to figure out. But to me, I constantly I'm like, I get the puzzles and I sit there and I think I know what I'm supposed to do, and then I'm like, I don't know, am I missing something or is it broken?
Yeah.
And I just don't know.
I feel like that every time. There's another mission where I had to pick up like this thing and then take it over to this object and then release it and then use the force push to seal it permanently and unlock this thing. I picked up the wrong. So there's 3 pieces that are identical in that area. I picked up the wrong one. I lifted one off of a hatch and took it over there and sealed it on there. No. You got to use the one that they want you to use. Yes.
Yeah.
You got to use the one that they want you to use. So there's this little shadow guy showing you, use the force push to seal it. I did that. It's sealed. It did not unlock the door. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So after fiddling with it for 40 minutes, I went and watched a video on YouTube. And I did everything right, except I used the wrong one of the 3. There's another mission where they're like, hey, take bags and put them in the designated area, these sacks, pick them up. And I had no idea. There's no designated area on the map.
There is a designated area. It's a tiny little white
brown
blotch
circle. Yeah.
That just appears once you pick the sack up, but it is not marked as where to take it. And all the other things you have to pick up and move around the camp are marked with the yellow dot, which is usually the place you're supposed to take something to drop it.
I took all the bags from somewhere else and put it to the area that's marked on the map. And the problem was, once I realized, that's the spot, you had to have those exact three sacks. This whole game is like that. It's just, I'll be honest with you, Matt, I do not have any interest in playing this anymore. I feel like this game has just pissed me off at every turn. I feel like it's just an indecipherable, like, hodgepodge of nothingness.
I don't feel I like it, but I wish I loved it, and I should. But it's not done.
I love every other game that this is based on and they stole ideas from. I like every one of
those
those
games. That guy even looks like the Wild Hunt King.
Yeah,
like,
he does. Yep.
There's probably a couple of Pal World lawsuits someone could probably throw in on this at some point.
The whole game just feels like incoherent. Like,
it even kind of looks like Siri.
Yeah, it's not a cohesive whole. Like, it just throws a bunch of crap against the wall and hopes that some of it sticks. Like,
yeah, like you're doing all this crazy shit riding. I haven't found a dragon or anything yet, but like you're doing all this stuff you're seeing here. But then sometimes you'll just like play rock paper scissors against some children.
Yeah,
for money.
I know.
It's like, what?
I just don't feel anything playing this game. Nothing. I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. The story isn't moving me forward. I'm just going through the motions, doing things that I have done in dozens of other video games for no reason. Like, the game doesn't give me a reason to do it. Like, looking at some of these trailers, like, I don't know, I've played 20 some hours of this game. Looking at some of these trailers, I'm like, holy crap, that eventually happens in this game?
Well, because, I mean, I'm 30 some hours in. I've seen maybe 15% of the map.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gigantic.
So that's what I'm saying.
I haven't even seen the Crimson Desert yet.
Like, I don't think you ever can fix this. I just don't think you can. Like, it would take so long because everything in this is, like, close, but no cigar. Like, everything feels like it's, like, 90% done. And it has that 10% where you pay attention to the small things and how it's used.
That's what I mean about the raw dough in the center. I think they can. I don't think the size of the world is relevant to that because I think
I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about the stuff you can do, like all the stuff that we're seeing in these trailers.
But what I'm saying is, most of that is the interface and the way you control the character. And like I think if you can make the controls snappier and make the interface make more sense, which again has been done. No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk, and The Witcher 3 all did that. If you can make that a little more intuitive, because like for instance, one of the, and I don't know, they're trying to cram so much stuff on the controller that they need to figure out some sort of other way of doing that or some sort of way to organize it better.
That's one thing you should steal from Assassin's Creed.
Because you can't, but that's too much stuff. Like Assassin's Creed isn't having you do as many things as this.
Yeah.
And like, one of the you can't actually customize the controls even on PC.
Nope.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a mod to do that, but like, so like one of the things that I was doing, it was a puzzle I found, which when I looked it up, everybody was saying like, oh, you got to defeat these really difficult bears. There were no bears. I didn't see any bears anyway.
Yeah, there weren't.
Actual bears, not like the bear clan, like the actual
like
bears.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'd be a first seeing hostile wildlife. There's not a lot of that in this game. But like the third thing you got to turn has no handle, and the handles are laying on the ground, but you can't interact with them. You can't pick them up. You can push them, knock them around. They're physical objects, but you can't pick them up. I'm like, okay, well maybe there was one thing I did like 30 hours ago where I had to stab my weapon into something and rotate it.
Yeah.
How do I stab something?
You do the force push.
Like that? Yeah. No, it's not that. There's a stab move. And that can stab into objects and let you turn them. And I couldn't remember how to do it. And I couldn't find it in because the help section is organized in hundreds.
I know.
Hundreds!
Try to look in it too.
And finally I looked at the skill tree and the stab thing is in there. And the way you do that is you hit RB and RT. Like, or I think. Or maybe right bumper and right trigger.
Shoulders.
Both right shoulders together. So I did it. And it wouldn't stab in. And I couldn't. I'm like, I know this is what I did that other time. Turns out, to stab into an object and manipulate it like that, you have to hold
L1,
RB and RT until he fully winds up, and then you do that. But then you had to stab it into the little strip of wood on the thing.
So you have to aim
so
it
you
with
have to
the L.
aim it right with the L while you and then, like, of course you have to be pointed right because the way he winds up changes his orientation. So if you're in the wrong orientation, you aren't going to be able to alter him to aim right. Man. And then once he did it, I couldn't get him to turn the thing. I'm like, he's just sitting there with a sword and a thing, and I'm like, turn it. And I'm like, finally I got it to work, and it worked. And what did I get out of that? One artifact.
Yeah.
The same thing I get from every other puzzle I solve.
I feel like
sometimes I get just by killing a random person.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I feel like I have a story for that for everything I've done in this game. Just a crazy convoluted story about how I couldn't figure it out, and then I did figure it out, but it still didn't work the way it was supposed to, and then I thought the game was bugged, and then I went and found out it was or it wasn't on YouTube. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like at a certain point when I'm playing games, I'm like, is this deserving of my time? I don't think right now it is, honestly. And you may be right. In 2 years, this may be like one of the best action RPGs ever. I would struggle to recommend people to play this now.
I think, because originally when IGN did like a provisional review of it on the day it came out, because nobody got this until pretty late, and I
paid
think
for
we
this
can
game,
see why.
Yeah, I didn't get this free. I had to pay for this.
And IGN gave it a provisional score of a 6, and I think they bumped that up to an 8 a few days later. And I think they got it right the first time.
Yeah, I do too.
I
think the aggregate for this is way too high.
I do enjoy this, and I think it will be. I've come to terms with how to get around its foibles and shortcomings. I am not going to recommend this to anyone else.
Me either.
I'm going to say wait and see if you haven't already bought it.
And I think you're going to need to wait for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to say check back every 6 months and see what condition it's in, basically. Yeah. Because I do think eventually this could be a really great game.
Like, this studio just bit off way too much. Like, for one game, like, you don't need to include all this in one freaking game.
Again, I think it needed another year.
Yeah. At least to polish all this stuff up.
And even, like, to get the baseline gameplay and combat, like, I saw people on the Reddit for this calling this the most fluid combat in the history of video games. I'm not kidding. People were saying that. And, like, if anyone said otherwise, they'd be like, we just don't know how to do it. I'm like, what's the fucking no? You hold the button down.
I mean, as soon as I started playing this game, I knew that there were going to be stands for this game.
Like,
you know that there's a certain kind of player that's going to think this is the bee's knees.
To me, that just screams I paid $70 for this and can't admit what I've done.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I paid $70 for it.
So did I.
I'm going to admit what
And I regret buying it.
I don't, but, like, I'm not going to argue with anyone who does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't argue with anybody who likes anything. They're not hurting other people.
Well, nothing you've said is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, everything you've said about this game is true.
Yeah. And it's just what your tolerance levels are for certain
I have figured out how to sort of live with it. But even sometimes I turn this on and I play it for 4 hours. Sometimes I turn it on, play for 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't need this right now.
I'm at the point now where I turn it on and I get to one of those situations we were just talking about, and that's it. Yeah. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this again.
So there's two things that I think are interesting in terms of like new ideas, more or less, in this game. The first one is that one of the way you get more inventory slots is by completing quests for people.
Yep.
So every time you complete a quest for a townsperson or whatever, you get 3 more inventory slots, and that is a really clever way of expanding your inventory, because inventory is important in this game. You're always picking stuff up, and you need tons of, especially before you could store anything. That was even more important. But also because it guarantees you're always going to have room for the reward you get, which is pretty smart.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is really smart is you pick up these pills. And I can't remember what they're called, Paimon pills.
Yeah, you get them at like camps and stuff.
You see them floating around. They're glowing with the weird Magitech glow, so you see them pretty easily.
Yeah.
And what those are, if you die in this game,
I love this too.
You actually can there's no penalty. You can just go back to the nearest checkpoint, which is sometimes pretty far away.
Yeah.
And against the boss, you can just retry immediately. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Why is that? Or you can take one of the pills and instantly resurrect with 30% of your health. Genius.
It is genius.
Genius.
I was going to say the same thing when you said there's one thing I really like that's innovative about this game.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
One of the early bosses, I'm not kidding. I got him down to must have been 1% health, and he killed me with some stupid ass red move I couldn't block.
That happened to me too.
And I just screamed, "Fuck!" I think the neighbors heard me. And then I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take the 30% pill and hit him one more. And then I stood up and he just fell over because I'd hit him with poison. So all I had to do was live for literally a half second longer.
The same thing happened to me, Matt, except I forgot about the health system, and I died, and I yelled, "Fuck!" and then walked away and went back and started working on the website for a while. And then I came back and I saw the menu screen. It's like, do you want to spend one of your things? I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, I
do. And then I used one of them and I hit him once and I finished the boss fight.
And eventually you do get a recipe to make those.
Yeah, no.
So you're not
That's
limited
brilliant.
by this.
I also
that
really,
is a great thing.
I agree. The other thing I like about it too is how you can really choose.
Here's the blinding flash. Hold L1 and R1 now. Keep holding R1 now. Aim with. What are you doing? Look at that fucking tooltip up there. What the fuck is that?
Notice the B-roll skipped because it took me forever to get it to work. So I chopped out all the time where I couldn't get it to work.
There are I can do combos in Marvel vs. Capcom that aren't like that tortured with how your finger placement has to be. It's so weird.
Yep. Yeah, so
this
also,
game screams, we've played this so long, we're blind to its flaws.
You may be right. We've gotten so good at it and used to playing it that we forgot that other people are going to play it for the first time. That's what I think.
Like,
too.
you should. I wonder. I mean, I don't wonder about AI testing. I wonder if they let anyone outside the company play this thing in the last year.
Seriously. The other thing I like about it that I found really innovative is the ability to set the camera literally however you want.
Yeah, the camera options are very good.
Like, I almost play this like an isometric action RPG. Like, I'm way zoomed out.
Yeah, I use the furthest
so I can see
out.
the enemies outside of the camera angles and stuff. Like, no game does that. I don't know why, but I love that this game allows that. So there are some things that they had really good ideas and they executed well on. Unfortunately, that's about 5% of the game.
Yeah, but that's also why I feel like they can get there with the other stuff. Like they're clearly not stupid, but like it ain't done.
No,
it's not baked.
I don't know how a game like this ever gets done. I feel like even though I've played like 20 some hours, I feel like I've played like 5% of it looking at the trailers for the game.
Well, the other thing that I will say, if you do decide to play this, or you are playing this, or starting or whatever, just beeline the story early on, because you got to get through the first 5 or so chapters of the story to unlock all the baseline abilities and systems and your camp and your extra character and like because otherwise you're going to be kind of hampered, because like you can have other characters in your party. For a long time, I had this healing ability, and I couldn't use it on myself. So I'm like, what the fuck is the point of having this? It turns out it's so your party members can get healed. And I'm like, I didn't even realize you could do that. Yeah. You can switch between the characters whenever you want.
Yeah. And they all have the same ability. So if you've learned something as Cliff, the other characters all already
They share inventory, and the only thing is different is the skill trees. But they do share your stamina, health, and...
like if you learn to glide, your character will be able to glide.
Yeah, the three main... Like the three main like reservoirs: stamina, health, and the leaf thing. The
magic,
mana, whatever. Spirit. It's called spirit.
Yeah.
So those 3 are always the same across all and sometimes they force you to switch. Like sometimes they go into a place.
They
and
make you.
It's like this is Cliff's story.
Yeah.
And it's because you need to use Cliff's like Zelda ability to magically lift things and do stuff like that. Yeah. But his story is kind of over after chapter 6.
Yeah.
And then like you're sort of on to her story, and then, but it's like you wouldn't note it. Like it doesn't really matter. Like I don't know. Like,
again, it feels like nothing matters in this game.
Well, it's like the beginning is like all this Magitech like.
It's like why am I doing
stuff,
all this?
And they're like, you got to do this or the world's gonna end, and then they send you back and you do a bunch of odd jobs for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like nothing you do after the big setup feels like anything important.
Well, I kept asking myself, like, why is anything happening in this? Which world is real? Is it this weird, like, Assassin's Creed world that I went to? Or is it this thing I was teleported back to where I used to live?
Well, they're both real. It's a multiverse.
I guess. Like,
they do say that outright. Like, the old guy who pretends to be the beggar at first does outright tell you, we are a different universe, but we're being mushed into yours, and if you don't do this for us, then both our universes are going to die. You
can fast forward cinemas in this, and they'll sound like the Chipmunks, but you can't skip them.
No. And there's a thing where like, so there's a certain forest that's like populated by little like sprite type characters, and if you try to go in it before you've done a certain thing, they'll just hit you with a sleep dart, and then they'll drag you out of the forest. And there's no way to really know when you're in that area or not, and it will send you on quests that are in that area. I was trying to like get a bounty target that was in there, and I couldn't figure out how to get around these damn like fucking elves, and like and you used to watch the same cutscene over and over, and I'm like, then okay, if I can't come in, why are you? There's a murderer that I'm trying to catch in the middle. Like, why is he not knocked out and dragged out? Drag him here, and I'll take him back with me.
You started trying to apply logic to this.
Yeah,
game.
You can't really.
Good luck with that one. All right, so to just kind of close things out, for me, it's a pass until you mentioned 6 months. I would even maybe go a year, but for me right now, I cannot recommend if somebody buys this at $70.
No, I mean, you got to be ready for everything to not really work very well.
Yeah.
I still find ways to enjoy parts of it, and it is sort of unlike anything else that's out right now.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree with that.
Just because you are unique does not mean you are useful.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk next about DLSS 5. I know we discussed this for a good bit in last week's episode, but a bunch of stuff has happened since then. In fact, we were kind of on the crest of the DLSS 5. We hit that way before everybody else. And since then, all these things have happened. They kind of add some context to, I'd say it's a controversy, wouldn't you?
Sorta. I mean, I don't see what's controversial about it. It's pretty clear what's happening. And even NVIDIA seems to know that they got to backtrack on this one. So
yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know that NVIDIA is backtracking on this. Like,
well, they admitted it's just a fucking AI overlay. Like, it's just a face. Well, you said it looks like a filter, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's a 2D overlay.
Well, as soon as we finished recording last week's episode, Jensen Huang, who for some reason people love this guy like he's a god. Like, I really think NVIDIA is kind of a cult like Tesla.
Can be.
I mean,
well, I mean, almost all the high-end tech companies are that.
Some clips circulated this week of, like, quote-unquote journalists interacting with this guy and literally, like, falling at his feet like he's a god. Well, like, it was literally turned my stomach.
The crypto people.
Well, as soon as we left, he issued a statement saying that, first of all, they're all wrong. People who were saying that, like, this is basically, like, Gen AI. He's like, no, they're wrong. And he got in this crazy technical discussion.
I saw that. He said it's not Gen AI, it's Gen AI.
Yeah.
That's literally what he said. It's like he then described a thing that is literally generative AI.
Right. Well, he said there was confusion over whether this stuff was being done at, like, the frame level or not. And he said it wasn't. That, like, they're actually interacting with, like, the geometry and stuff. But
which is hilarious because they just got done saying how it wasn't changing any of the geometry or messing with any of that.
Well, then what happened was that somebody at NVIDIA contradicted him. One of their marketing people came in. His name was Jacob Freeman. He claimed that DLSS 5 is indeed operating at the frame level. So once that came out, and he may be fired. Let's be honest, he may lose his freaking job over this. You know, you can't contradict the dear leader, and that's what he did. Well, as soon as that happened, then, like, Jensen Huang started softening his language a little bit. But then it came out that both Capcom and Ubisoft were never told by NVIDIA that NVIDIA was going to use their games in this. They said when they saw Resident Evil Requiem with that filter on it, that was the first time they had ever seen or heard about it. That NVIDIA did not clear using their games to promote DLSS 5. How does that sit with you, Matt?
I mean, about the same as the rest of it sat with me. It's like not a good look, boys.
Man, I mean, that is some hubris right there on NVIDIA's part.
It also indicates to me that they knew.
That they knew people were going to react this way. They didn't want to tell anybody, like the publishers, because they may say no.
Yeah.
Capcom could have said,
Resident Evil 9 is the hotness right now. You don't want to not have that in there.
It's shady AF, man.
Yeah.
And this got so...
Of course it is. It's AI shit.
Yeah. This became such a big deal that Capcom then issued a statement promising that it will never use AI to create in-game assets for its games. And then it did clarify, like an hour later, that we may use it to increase productivity in certain things, but we'll never use it for art.
Right.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, like AI has certainly useful use cases in generative AI in terms of, like, it's a text predictor. Like, you can basically, like, if you have something that's iterative that you need to basically, like, you do a bunch of times or whatever, like, it's fine for that. But if you want to do anything creative that involves new ideas or new work or new things, it's either going to plagiarize shit or it's going to hallucinate shit. And there's no way to stop it from doing that. So it's basically useless for that use case. But there's a lot of stuff that's, like, basically just, like, you know, repetitive grunt work. It can, you know, ease the burden of that. And that is, you know, if you're talking about, you know,
populating trees in a field.
But again, that's just procedural generation. That's not AI.
We've been doing that for forever.
We've been doing that since Oblivion.
Right.
That's not. I mean, they would definitely call it AI now because investors.
Yeah.
But, like, we never called it that before.
Yeah. Well, then, so the capper, after Capcom issued that statement saying it would never use AI to create in-game assets, then Jensen Huang from NVIDIA started figuring out that the vast majority of people were not fans of DLSS 5. And he issued a statement saying that, like, I don't love AI slop myself, and this is not that.
No, it is.
It is.
Those Resident Evil changes are AI slop. That is the problem, and it's that FIFA guy, too.
Yeah. I mean, has NVIDIA just got so big for its britches at this point that it just feels like it can do whatever it wants and people are just going to deal with the consequences?
No. I mean, there's no indication right now to me that they're not going to do anything to alter this. I think they are eventually. There is an argument to be made that that they could not alter it and it wouldn't matter because, like, video games are such a tiny percentage of their business now, and because what they're doing this for is to make their AI investors happy.
Sure,
because that's where their bread and butter is.
Yeah,
and they're like, look, AI is in everything now. That's what everybody's doing right now.
Yeah,
because they got to show that all this money they threw at this thing
is actually resulting
in something, even though there's actually there's no revenue stream for it. And right now, all the AI you're using, generative AI stuff you're using at a ridiculous free. I mean, it's the equivalent of like back when like ride shares cost $3 to go like downtown, and now they cost the same as a taxi.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah,
because the companies that are using this are paying substantial subscription fees annually or quarterly to have it, and eventually that's going to hit the consumer-facing side. Which is why it's not going to work, because no one's actually going to pay for that other than the people who are completely lost to these things.
Well, OpenAI promised it would never run ads, and now it's running ads.
Of course it is. Because there's no revenue stream.
It is not. Yeah.
And there's no way to get the hallucinations out. There's no way to ever trust it to do anything right. It doesn't learn anything. It can't learn. It's a math equation.
Yeah.
And there's no way around. So whatever you're going to do to make these things not look like AI slop Instagram models, it's not going to involve AI. It's going to involve actual programming.
Does it feel a little bit like NVIDIA's turning into the bad guy?
I think NVIDIA's always been the bad guy. I mean, they're a giant mega corporation. Of course they're the bad guy.
I mean, it could kind of single-handedly kill console gaming.
How? Because
it's dedicating all its resources to AI. And because of that, the prices of components are going up, and we can't build a video game console for a reasonable price anymore.
Yeah, I mean, again, NVIDIA, I don't know if I should blame NVIDIA for that or the idiot investors.
You're right. That's tough to assign the blame, but
NVIDIA is going where the money is, and the money is in a really stupid place right now.
Yeah.
Except the money is only from people investing in the thing, hoping it will give them money later, but there's no way to get from point A to point B. So what are we doing?
This is what they're doing right here. This part of the B-roll showing the enterprise applications of AI. This is what NVIDIA cares about.
Oh, sure. But, like, then what?
Right.
Okay, you've generated this picture of a guy in a car in an office. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you still have to do something. There still has to be something worth paying for at some point at the end of all this, and so far they haven't found that.
Well, I mean, Amazon's going to pay for all this.
Right,
so that they can fire all the human workers and
replace them with
robots and AI.
Then what? It's like,
I mean, I don't think people are prepared for the then what, Matt, when nobody has jobs anymore.
That's sort of the theme of this year, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's where we're headed. We're headed to a place where a lot of people no longer have jobs, and there aren't going to be any jobs for those people. And no one's thinking about that part of it. Like, what do we do when there's no jobs for people to have?
But the same thing is happening in Iran.
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? What's the goal?
And there isn't one.
Well, the goal is to win. Well, what?
No.
What does that mean? What is the win condition?
I mean, the goal for that, there isn't one. The goal is to distract. That's why it's happening.
But like, so is this.
Yeah.
You distract people from the fact that there's no end game here.
Yeah.
Like, outside of very specific use cases in terms of programming, data collation, etc. Basically, like boring. Basically boring accountant tools almost.
It is kind of sad that AI
There's no magic here. There's no magic.
Why did they choose our industry? Seriously. I mean, I get it's all computing and stuff like that, but why?
It's just because they were the ones.
Why are we the use case?
What do you mean?
Where they're trying to ingratiate AI with people using video games as the medium, is almost like a Trojan horse in some ways.
Wait, who's doing that?
Like, it could have been any industry. Like, why isn't there a focus on like Amazon and warehousing and stuff like that instead of like games being the guinea pig? Like,
I don't know where games are the guinea pig on that, really.
Well, they're using AI to make video games.
Right, but they're using AI to do everything.
Right, but for whatever reason, the most public-facing, and it feels like the most discussed angle of it, is using AI to make video games. No one's complaining.
I don't agree with that.
Like, I don't see anyone complaining about using it in Amazon warehouses, even though I know people who have lost their jobs already because of it.
I mean, the most commonly complained about thing is using it to make images. Is replacing human.
But see, most people like that.
No, they don't.
I mean, most people I know like going to ChatGPT and just punching in something and it making an image.
Most people do not like that. Most people do not react well to AI-generated images as art in things.
Everybody I know loves it.
Your demographic is not representative of the whole, then, because one of the things that these companies are starting to learn is that when you post like ads or commercials or little like eye catcher things with AI, all you get are comments saying, "Why is it AI?
Yeah.
What is this shit?"
Well, I think we're gonna have that forever now. The discussion of what is real and what isn't. Is it AI or is it not?
I don't think we will.
Really?
Because I think the time will come when it is no longer financially reasonable to run these things for free or as a consumer-facing sort of like toy, and you're just not going to be able to access these things.
They're just going to fold
in a reasonable manner
away.
unless you decide to pay a subscription fee every year. Most of the people that do this are doing it because they want to do it cheap and easy and fast.
Yeah,
and that does not entail paying $1,000 a year to subscribe to ChatGPT.
It'll be interesting to see how the people who have spent so much money on this are willing to let that go. Because, I mean, you got to realize there are very, very rich people who are leveraged up to their chin in this. I don't think they're just going to be like, oh, it's a failure. We're just going to let it go away.
No, they're not going to. No more than the people who lost their shirts in the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis chose to do that. It's just going to collapse.
Well, I mean, a lot of people got caught up in that, and it wasn't their fault. Like, people know what AI is.
But I'm talking about the people who are in, the people who had to, the banks and the real estate companies had to be bailed out. Those are the people you're talking about, and the equivalent of this. And they did not decide one day, you know what, we're all going to admit that this didn't work. It just one day the top got too heavy and it just all fell in on itself. And the same thing will happen here once you've invested the same imaginary money back into NVIDIA and then back into other things, and I mean, it's all a big circle. Yeah. There's no new money coming in. It's the same thing that happened with crypto. It's the same thing that happened with NFTs. At some point, everyone realized that you're just pumping the same money in a circle, and then at some point someone takes it out to like run away from the situation, and that leaves everyone still in the situation with less. Or it becomes a pyramid scheme, and you have to keep bringing new people in to invest. But the thing is, when it comes to numbers the size of AI,
that's not going to work.
There's only so many people in the world who can float that kind of money.
Right.
And I think they've more or less roped everyone in.
They've tapped them already.
Pretty close. Except Apple, who still doesn't quite buy it.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday every stock was down but Apple's.
Yep.
It only went up $1, but still everything else was down. So... you think there's going to be repercussions for this for NVIDIA? Any consequences at all?
I mean, I don't know what they'd be.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I mean, I'm sure Capcom and all
they're not going to stop working with them.
The publishers are probably going to be like irritated with them, but what can you do?
Nothing. I mean, maybe its hubris is understandable.
I mean, I guess I'm surprised he even commented on it, frankly.
It is kind of weird for him to even comment on a video game thing at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's so irrelevant to their business now.
Like, at some point...
But they know that we're loud.
He must care to some degree. Like, that is I mean, it's probably hard for anyone who's been with NVIDIA for any length of time to let go of the idea that NVIDIA is
a gaming company.
Graphics company. That is where, I mean, again, it only got involved in this because NVIDIA cards became the preferred crypto mining tool because they were the most powerful hardware on the market. It made sense to use it. Well, it doesn't make sense because it's stupid, but it made sense that was the choice.
Yeah.
For mining and such. And now this is sort of where they are, I don't know. Like, I don't think financially they have any reason to change course on that.
No, but they have no incentive.
But they might if they can see that some of those pillars they rest on are shaky. Maybe he knows that the day will come when video games will be their business again.
Or what if AMD's GPUs start selling like way better? Maybe then...
In the gaming space?
Yeah. What if people start rejecting NVIDIA's GPUs and they start buying AMD's?
I don't think they would do... Because the most people they're buying the NVIDIA GPUs are just using it for data centers. And
right. Or they may not be able to find an NVIDIA GPU.
Right. But like NVIDIA's doing pretty well at supplying all those people who are... all the investments for the AI data centers for the blades. Like that's they're getting that done. Like that's not an issue.
Yeah.
The issue is that everything else is getting more expensive because NVIDIA's buying it all up to do that.
Yeah.
So AMD could maybe become the premier video game the graphics card company, but again, you're talking about Nvidia losing like 2% of their business.
Right.
They don't care. The only thing that would make them, that I think would make them care, is the idea that he maybe recognizes that one day they may need that marketing.
That's what I was saying. Coupling it with what you were saying, that like this AI thing isn't going to last forever. We're probably going to have to go back to gaming someday. What if they look at it that way, and all of a sudden gamers make a choice, even though it's maybe not cheaper to buy AMD, they just want to do it because it's the right thing to do, and they get a bump.
First off, gamers will never do that. Second, they could go to AMD as a desperation move, but I assure you when NVIDIA came back,
they go right back
because NVIDIA's better.
It is better.
It's just better tech most of the time.
Yeah,
There's a reason AMD is not the company that everyone's using for their data centers and for their crypto. There's a reason NVIDIA became the hotness for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So at a certain point, doing the right thing, which is a laughable thing with most of the fandom of video games, I think, we're not good at that. I think you go right back to the thing that gives you the best experience, which is almost inevitably NVIDIA.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think they need to do anything, and I think it's weird that he even said anything, because they could have just said, like, "Oh, fuck off." And people would have been like, "Okay, like, what are you gonna do?" I'm gonna, you're gonna update it. I'm gonna turn it off and try to ignore that it's there, and that's all I can do.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We're gonna talk next about Final Fantasy. So Yoshi P, who has, for whatever reason, turned into like the spokesperson for Final Fantasy at this point.
Yeah, because somebody's got to do it.
He's the director of Final Fantasy XIV, which I would argue is probably the last truly successful Final Fantasy game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the best thing they've done in the space for 20 years.
A long time. Yep, Final Fantasy 15 was a flop. Final Fantasy 16 was a relative flop. Neither one of those games sold especially well. And so Yoshi P, who I have a lot of respect for, came out and he said that the problem is that young audiences are not resonating with Final Fantasy. And his reason is that because it takes too long between entries being released. Mm-hmm. Here's what he said. He said that I'm 53 now, and I've been playing since Final Fantasy 1 in real time. But for younger generations, people who grew up naturally accustomed to action-based combat and online competitive play, the recent entries in the series may have been harder to engage with. Part of that is simply because, I'm sorry to say, the release intervals for new titles have gotten longer, so some players really haven't had the chance to connect with the series the way older fans did. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I've said that before. Like, one of the reasons that Final Fantasy is in such dire straits right now is because they wasted 10 years on Final Fantasy 13. Mm-hmm. Like, they spent 10 years wallowing around in that lightning shit.
They did. Which I never liked. It never resonated with me at all.
I was never a fan of. I thought the second one was okay.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a whole generation that grew up without Final Fantasy because because one of the things about Final Fantasy was that every time a new one came out, it was a different world and a different setting with different characters with the same elements. And if you didn't like the last one, maybe you like this one. Mm-hmm. Like it was, but obviously not in America because we didn't get we didn't get 5. But
and like 6 was 4.
6 was 3.
3, right? Yeah.
4 was 2 and 6 was 3.
Right,
here.
right.
So good, but like in Japan, you're talking about like you got like six games in 8 years there, and then 7 comes out, and then 8 was out 2 years later, and then I mean it was a regular steady feed, and then suddenly you spend 10 years on this one thing that everyone was sort of okay with because Nomura really wanted Lightning to be the thing, which is funny because Lightning is just Cloud with different hair.
Yeah, pretty much.
And like there was a whole generation that didn't play Final Fantasy because they didn't want to play 13 and there was nothing else to do, and everything else was a spin-off that was sort of cashing in on nostalgia. And now that's sort of where you are, and they don't have any fondness or trust or nostalgia for that Final Fantasy brand now, and there's nothing. So that's why the only thing that's really super successful right now is the thing that's harkening back to 1997.
Yeah,
because that's when it was in its heyday. But you lost the children of Gen X and the millennials to some degree because they didn't grow up with this stuff.
I guess I would say that every other franchise is in the same boat, like old franchises anyway.
Right.
They used to be released far more frequently than they are now. Those franchises haven't struggled like Final Fantasy, though, to kind of connect with the younger players.
Well, part of it is because the Final Fantasies suck.
I mean, that's where we're getting. We're getting
15,
to the root of the problem.
15 is a bad game. Like, I don't care what they did later. I don't care what they updated. I don't care what DLC they did. That game sucks.
Yeah.
And the first thing everyone saw was those guys driving in a car with Stand By Me playing, and everyone said, that's stupid. And they walked away from it.
And that was a huge gap between, which 14 isn't even a first single-player game, but like it was still a big gap between Final Fantasies there. And then from 15 to 16, another big gap.
And 16 is...
We both love 16.
I like 16 a lot, but it's barely recognizable as Final Fantasy, and it doesn't really look like anything that the kids would want to play.
I guess that's what my question, Matt, and maybe you have more insight into this than I do, but like all my nieces and nephews love anime. Love it. Mm-hmm. Like that's all they watch. When they come here, they go to manga stores and buy manga magazines and stuff. Like, to me, it feels like they should resonate with Final Fantasy, but they just don't. Why do you think it is?
Because there's no show. There's no movie. They're probably interested in like Naruto or like Jujutsu Kaisen or like Demon Slayer or things like that have tie-in games. Mm-hmm. But Final Fantasy has no presence in media outside of the games.
Yeah, it used to back when we were youngins.
Oh yeah, a little bit. They
tried.
There was an old anime series. They did the Advent Children nonsense.
Yeah.
They tried to do that Spirits with Anything that killed the Honolulu studio. But they don't have any presence really outside of that at this point. And that's how kids discover anime and manga, is by reading and engaging in with it as storytelling.
Yeah.
And then they're interested in it. Because again, you're still talking about a generation that mostly plays mobile stuff.
Yeah.
Like phones. There's no reason for a kid under, say, 16 to have wanted to suddenly change up their whole daily schedule and engage with Final Fantasy 16 as a console game.
Yeah.
Because that's generally not what they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, they're also not playing single-player games at all.
So you will see sometimes, like, you know, I have friends who will be like, yeah, my kid usually doesn't use my PlayStation, but he wants to play the Demon Slayer game because he likes Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that guiding anyone into Final Fantasy right now.
Yeah.
And I would argue that there's no way to do that, because every time you try to bring Final Fantasy out to a purely narrative medium, you fail, because the stories of Final Fantasy outside of the expansions to 14 pretty much suck.
Yeah.
Like, there's very little to, like, latch onto in terms of storytelling in Final Fantasy without the gameplay to also pull you through it post 6, I would argue. Even the other one I like in that post 6 era, which is 12, it's not a super strong story. It's just, I think it's a fun game combined with a story that is a pretty functional, like, retelling of Star Wars.
It feels like the writing was on the wall when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did not sell very well.
Yeah.
That really, to me, was startling. because this is what people have been begging for decades.
Well, they were begging for a remake of 7 that was one game.
Well, we were. Right. We were. Our generation was. The kids weren't. The kids don't care about Final Fantasy VII.
No. I mean, the first remake sold very well. Rebirth just
to us.
Yeah, but that's
our audience.
That's all you need when you're talking about a game that sold as much as Final Fantasy VII did back in the day, as long as your expectations are reasonably attuned, which maybe Square's are not, because that is a problem they have.
Yeah.
Rebirth sold less, I think, because I think a lot of people were not very satisfied with Remake. And I think a lot of people were like, I'm just going to wait until it's done.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean like the whole trilogy?
Yeah. Like, because people don't like that. People don't like the installment
having
thing
to wait.
Doing. And, like, I get why they're doing it, and I also get why people don't like it. Like, I was in the theater when the first Dune movie came out, and Dune Part 1 came up on the screen, and the whole theater went, what? Because they did not advertise that was Part 1. Mm-hmm. The trailers for Dune did not make it clear
actually.
that was Part 1. But
that was probably smart.
It was very smart. Like, the person I was with turned to me and goes, what? There's 2 parts? I'm like... Yeah, it's a 1,000-page book. Like, yes, it's 2 parts.
Yeah.
Or it's a 7-hour movie. You know So yeah, people don't like that. They're waiting for the. I mean, I didn't buy Rebirth.
I did. But...
You did, but like you.
Well, I didn't. They sent it to you.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to pay another $70 for that. I didn't even like the first one very much. I know the second one's supposedly better.
It is way better.
But now I'm like, when do I have time to play that? I'll just wait until they finish it.
So you're going to wait till the third one comes out to play the second?
Probably, or at least a little bit before it. Like, I'm sure the price will be better then.
I mean, I think the price is already...
They've dropped
it a good bit already. Because
but like, when am I going to do that?
Right. Because it's also gigantic.
Yeah, who has time to sit there and play this, like, weird-ass... Even the people that love this game are like, Man, there's a lot of wasted time in it. Like,
well, Rebirth, I played it for 50-some hours. I got to a boss fight that I fought like 25 times and gave up on. I have not gone back. 50-some hours into a game that I never finished.
That's the other thing is I would buy it on PC because I didn't get it on PlayStation. I mean, I'll buy it on PC so if that happens to me, I can just cheat.
There you go. Yeah, that's true.
Because I have no compunction of pulling up some mod that just lets me cheat my way through a boss fight I don't want to deal with.
Yeah. And I do wonder if Final Fantasy Tactics, the remaster of that, or remake, whatever they decided to call it, if that was maybe Square Enix trying to be like, well, maybe the kids will like this.
I can't imagine. I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is too tough for most people.
Yeah, I don't think the kids will like it at all. Like, I don't know what you do to make Final Fantasy appeal to kids. It's already a Japanese-centric game, and the kids do love stuff from Japan, but they're not buying your game still. And Japanese games in general aren't selling better or worse than they ever have.
Maybe you just lean real hard into the sort of shonen anime look.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to.
Or maybe you do what you said, and you launch an anime show for Final Fantasy.
I guess, but that you're talking about so far out, and you're talking about committing to. I mean, they also kind of did try to do that with 15.
Yeah, they did,
and it didn't work because everything they came up with for 15 was stupid. Mm-hmm. Which I guess is a risk of any creative endeavor. But
is there any saving Final Fantasy? Because once we get tired of it, they have no audience.
No. I say no.
It really feels like it might be a dead
Final
franchise.
Fantasy is a dying brand as its audience slowly ages out and dies off.
Yeah, it really.
Final Fantasy is over.
It really feels that way. It really does. I know some people don't want to hear that, but
why not? Like, who cares?
Because some people are big fans. They're afraid they'll never get another one. A Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but fans of what? It's different every time.
No, you're right.
You're a fan of Final Fantasy 7, sure.
Yeah, ask somebody what
you're
about
not a fan.
Final Fantasy
You're not a fan of Final Fantasy 17 because you don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah. I mean, they would say, like, I like the summons. But what would you say?
Well, you got 16 games to play already. Yeah. And also, plus whatever spin-offs and whatever. And also, the people who made this series, made it what it is, or don't work on it anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
Like, that's the other... It's just another example
that might be one of the big problems, honestly, is that they've lost a lot of the talent that has worked on this series for a long time.
Some of it, but it's more that the world changed and Square didn't notice. And that's a problem. That's a problem with all of Square's stuff.
No, you're right. Yeah. And they do have a hit, and they're like, oh, that's still not good.
It's like, why in a living fuck has there not been a Kingdom Hearts game in, like, 8 years?
That's hard to believe, too.
Like, you let whole generations of children grow up without Kingdom Hearts.
Because
but you could
people are not sick of Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
They want more Kingdom Hearts.
Because Disney's eternal.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on over there at Square Enix, but whatever it is, it's not good.
They're missing the boat on so many different things, and I don't know what's taken, and they're always afraid to embrace sort of the new... You remember back when they were saying, like, oh, the reason Final Fantasy 13 is a long corridor from start to finish is because it's too expensive to make a town now? And then, like, 14 other games are like, here's a game with four cities in it.
Yeah.
We made it in 3D, in high res. I don't know what Square's talking about.
Yeah.
It's like Bethesda would basically just... Every time Square would say something as an excuse for why Final Fantasy was the way it was, Bethesda would be like, here's a game that does exactly that.
Yeah. It does seem like Square Enix is a little bit delusional.
A little bit.
Yeah. And I don't think it has that much to do with how long it is between entries. I think it's just the franchise is not interesting.
I don't think how long it is helps.
Yeah.
But
it contributes to the problem.
It's a combination of like spending too much time on individual versions of the franchise, mainly 13, and not really...
On something that doesn't resonate.
Yeah, and not really... I mean, again... The gardener could have told you Final Fantasy 15 was not going to be a hit.
Yeah.
It's so weird and goofy and dumb. And like...
That worked for a while, though, for a lot of Japanese publishers.
Yeah, but it didn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to... It would have to look like a Tales Up from the Abyss to look like... I mean, maybe they need to lean more into the shonen.
I think some people look at it as, like, endearing or whatever. I don't, but I think some people do.
Some do. I mean, it has its fans, but it doesn't have... It's not endearing enough to a large enough demographic to make it a hit the way Final Fantasy needs to be a hit and the way Square expects it to be a hit. Like, it's just not... It's in the same way that, like, they really seem to think everybody was going to love Lightning as much as they loved Cloud or Squall, and they just didn't. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't really anything to do with Lightning necessarily, so much as just, like, that was not a very interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it wasn't what you expected from a Final Fantasy in the sense that Final Fantasy had become, had always been a little more like, you do the thing, you start in a place, it branches out, you get to go out in the world and run around the map and do other things, and it all comes back together, and that's a Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was from, like,
1 to 9?
Not 1 so much, but, like, they figured the formula out around 3, and 4 codified it, and it was like that all the way through 9.
Yeah.
and then 9 did railroad you a bit.
A little bit.
In the last,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden they sort of ran out of time and money, and they were just like, the last disc is just like 2 boss
Let's
fights
do
and
this.
let's get on with it.
Let's finish this
Sort of
up,
like what happened with Xenogears, where it's like we
Yeah.
ran out of money, so the second disc is just guys in a chair narrating the rest of the story, and occasionally you play a dungeon.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, and then you just sort of wandered into this weird era where like they tried to do the online one. 10 was sort of strangely. 10 was
did
a
okay.
hit. Did okay.
Yeah.
But 10 is the first game in the series I didn't finish.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't care
Yeah.
eventually. I mean, it wasn't giving me this. It was like, okay, I'm just going to walk down a path and fight a boss every once in a while. And eventually I hit a boss that I couldn't beat, and I didn't know what else to do. So I just didn't turn the game on again eventually.
I feel like that was the last Final Fantasy where Final Fantasy fans were like losing their minds to play it. Mm-hmm. I remember working at, I think it was GameSpot or whatever when it came out. And I remember the Final Fantasy fans on staff at the time were almost insufferable. Mm-hmm. They were so freaked out and excited to play it that it almost turned me off. I was like, you guys are weird.
That's
like,
partly 10, and it's partly just what Square was then.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. People may not
fans.
remember. People may not be old enough to remember
Yeah.
this. The Square fans at the end of the 90s and early aughts
were crazy.
I mean, I'm talking like there were people in our AOL chat that their names were all obscure Square game references. There was a lot of Zeals and Zeo.
Well, remember the Bouncer? That was supposed to be the second coming of God to Square Enix fans.
And they would just go on and on about how like Play Online. That was the thing I always remember, and I wish this had ever leaked because I've told this story before, but it was right when Final Fantasy 11 was coming out, and that was really where you saw they'd lost the plot.
Yeah,
if at some point when you went into the Square booth for like your journalism appointment, you didn't meet with an actual human being. They just sat you in a theater and ran a bunch of commercials that you couldn't see on the screen outside the theater. Yep. Like it was like there was commercials running in the booth, but then you had to see the special commercials only we got to see, including like the Kingdom Hearts stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But one of the things they ran was basically an ad, a little promotional video for Play Online.
Yeah.
And it was set like 3 years in the future, so like 2004, right?
Yep.
2004, 2005, and it was basically like these kids were playing Final Fantasy 11, which wasn't really out yet, but so it was like, clearly in the future when Final Fantasy 11 was the most popular game in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, no kidding. Like, that's the premise.
Yeah.
And these kids can't beat this boss, so they text like the best player in the city, and he's like walking down the street with like an entourage of like girls. It's like he looks like, if I recall, he looked like the kid from The Sandlot who like said like, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like that type.
Yeah.
And he looks at his pager and he sees, oh, they need my help, and he like just immediately turns into the nearest like Play Online center, which like because they're everywhere. It shows like a map. And it's like Play Online centers everywhere. He goes in, he sits down, and all the people in the Play Online center know him. And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" There he is, and he sits down and he helps him out. And he's like, "No problem." And it was like basically the gist of the ad was like, if you are going to play a video game online in the future, you are going to play it through Square's Play Online.
Right.
And
that did not happen.
And that is, but again, we look at that. I tell that story now, and everyone's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm not kidding."
That's real.
I went back home from E3 and told the chat room about that, and all the Square fans were like, "Yep, that's absolutely what's going to happen. Play Online is the future. Yeah. If you don't think Play Online is the future of online gaming, you don't understand what's happening."
They were hardcore fanboys.
And that is maybe why I didn't fall for any of the crypto NFT shit. Because I've heard it before.
Very good.
And you know what? It's probably the same fucking people.
It probably is. Yep.
Probably the same. I bet I know. I know some of those guys.
All right, we got to move on. Next up, we're going to talk about a little indie game. Actually, Matt, you had played this a couple weeks ago.
I played the demo during the Next Fest.
I finally got time to play it myself. It is a game called The Eternal Life of Goldman. This game is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch.
What a bonkers opening cinema this is.
It really is. It's coming this year, but they do not have a hard release date for it yet. And it is a side-scrolling 2D hand-animated platformer, and it is just gorgeous.
Beautiful. Look at it. I mean, this is incredible work.
Everything about this game screams just top level, top shelf production values. I found this game to be pretty challenging, though, too.
There's some challenging stuff. Also, it's challenging as an art product, as an art piece, because the tone of this game is so weird.
It really is weird.
It is one of the darkest things I've played in a long time, and you wouldn't think by looking at this, it looks like a happy-go-lucky platformer with a jolly John Hammond equivalent, like running through, hopping on his cane like Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales. So this game is told, the framing device of this game is an angry mother telling a story about a man she hates to her dying child.
Yeah.
Who's terminally ill. And the kid keeps coming up with, like, you know, like kids when you tell them stories like, oh, and I bet this happened and this happened. And she's like, no, it didn't. Shut up and listen. And like, she's like, she hates her dying child and she hates Goldman and she doesn't want to tell the story, but she's telling it anyway.
Yeah.
And then you go into the game and he's like arrived to like basically loot the place, and everyone knows he's there to loot the place, and they're all like, you fucking colonizer. And like, he's like, yep, but I'm still going to do it. And you're like, what is this?
It's
like,
really bizarre.
It is like, it's not nasty, like it's not unpleasant, but it's like
unsettling.
It is unsettling. You don't know which way to turn.
I don't know how to feel about
it.
Right.
It's a hard thing
really,
to pin down.
It's like an emotional roller coaster, but like not.
I'm like, I have no idea where this is going.
Me either.
Like,
the end of this could be completely
anything.
bonkers.
I have no idea. Yeah, no idea where this is going.
Yeah.
And that's a very refreshing thing, especially as someone who I'm pretty well acquainted with stories. I can usually tell where something's going.
Yeah.
This one, if you put a gun to my head and said, put money down on, like, you know, how this game's going to end, I couldn't come. I don't know. This game is bonkers.
The elements that it weaves into it too, it's like I can't really pin down like what its influences are, because it has like fairy tales, myths, legends, all this stuff that's like all mixed into one game.
Mm-hmm. Like it's clearly taken from the old Disney, like the Disney NES stuff, like the Disney Afternoon stuff. The gameplay with the cane is very reminiscent of DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like kind of aesthetically and narratively, like, I mean, I guess it is kind of taking tonally. It does sort of feel a little Roald Dahl-ish. It does feel like, you know, children's literature, you forget, is actually pretty hardcore. Like it's like there's some dark stuff and all that.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Like the idea that like Bridge to I guess Bridge to Terabithia is an important thing to learn growing up, that like horrible things will happen to you, but like it's sort of like the element to this that it reminds me of some of that, like the children's lit where you're just like, what? Like they're like old like 70s cartoons that are ostensibly for children, but they're actually like a giant like 90-minute drug trip about killing wildlife for 20 minutes. It's that kind of thing.
But in the meantime, in this is odd too.
But it took me a while to realize that you can control the cane from the upper left thing, and I didn't realize that apparently, because I am so used to using the D-pad to move a 2D character around that I would continually switch back to the D-pad and accidentally change his cane to something else.
Yeah, so they make you choose whether you want to use the D-pad or the analog stick. It's like, why? Mm-hmm. Like every other 2D platformer, you can just use whichever one you want.
Well, because one of the things has to be controlling the cane.
Right.
Controlling the cane pieces.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to go in the menu every time
you want to swap the pieces out. So that's the mechanic we should have mentioned, is that he has this magical cane that's basically comprised of 3 different parts, and you can swap out those different parts, and it gives his cane different functionality. Mm-hmm. So that's why Matt's saying you don't want to have to go into the menu to switch it every time.
And that's what this is. So you can either go into this menu and do it manually, or if it went in the upper left corner, you just press the D-pad left, down, or right. Yeah. And it changes it.
And as you play, you get new additions to the cane. Like right at the beginning, you get the hook so you can pull things. At first, you just have like a stub on the cane or whatever. And as you play, you get new additions to the cane that give you new abilities that unlock new parts of the world, places that you couldn't get to previously. It's a tried and true design, nothing out of the ordinary for sure. But everything else about this game is out of the ordinary. It's so bizarre and different and unique from any other side-scrolling thing I've played that it just... This demo is like 90 minutes. It felt like it went by in like 10 minutes. Like I just had it wasn't even that I was having fun. It's just that my mind was constantly engaged by this game. Like the scene we saw earlier, where you pull the thing and it's almost like a clothes hamper that you put outside to like dry your clothes, like a drying rack or whatever. Like this game does a bunch of stuff like that I have not seen in other games. And it does seem like we always have to rely on these 2D indie games to do the heavy lifting in that way, but this one is definitely doing it. I was pleasantly surprised by this game. I definitely wanted to keep playing. It was a little more difficult than I thought. The control scheme to me, like how you have to like hold two buttons to do a lot of, like, I don't understand why, because there's not like single button assignments like in the control scheme. It's very weird the way they decided to set it up, but it doesn't take very long to get your head around it, and you can just jump in and start going pretty quickly. But at first, it was a little bit of a hurdle for me because it's kind of like Crimson Desert, where you have this muscle memory build up. It's like, man, the X button or the A button should just be jump. Like, that's just the way it is, you know?
Well, I think this is a little more intuitive than that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get used to it. And you got to get used to, like, you know, some of the puzzles they start throwing at you require you to do, like, 3 things at once. And it's just going to be that kind of platformer.
This is also not for kids.
No, not at all.
And it does feel like this genre generally is made for kids. This one is not.
And it kind of looks like it would be, but it is not.
Well, kind of. You're right. Like, you can see first glance, you're like, oh, that maybe is a kid's game. You start paying attention more to the art, you realize, oh, no. Like, there's definitely some dark stuff in this game, without a doubt. Like you said, the whole setup for it is very dark. So, again, this is called the Eternal Life of Goldman. And again, it's coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch. No hard release date, but coming sometime this year. But I had fun with it while it lasted, and you can go play this demo yourself as well if you have a gaming PC. It's only on Steam. I was surprised that this demo also wasn't on Xbox, because this game is, I believe, coming to Game Pass on day one. So I was kind of surprised that there wasn't a demo for Xbox, but as of right now, there's just one for PC. As you said, it was for the Steam Next Fest or whatever. So it's up there if you want to play it yourself. This is just the first boss. This demo goes on for quite a while after this, believe it or not. Like, I thought it was going to end here. It does not. There's like still a huge chunk.
There's a lot to do, and you get to see the map of the archipelago, which is pretty big.
Yeah, I can scrub through this footage like really quickly if you just want to see some of the stuff that comes a little bit later. Because you do start getting into stuff like this a lot more after the boss fight, where you're picking up, and there's the map, and you can basically warp to wherever you want.
It's not the real map.
Right.
But
yeah. That's true.
That's a pretty clever thing, too.
It is clever how they do that. But you can see here's the level later on. But you start getting into more stuff like this as you get later on into the demo, where you're collecting documents and looking for clues and things like that. In this section where he moves real friggin' slow.
He's an old man.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, it's mostly it is 70% of the game is just typical 2D platforming, using like bouncing things to get higher and stuff like that. And kind of figuring out how the environment works and then working around the environment. Obviously, you don't want to jump on the next one because there's spikes up above. A lot of it is your typical 2D platforming stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it, you've seen most of this before. You've just probably never seen it put together quite like this.
With this kind of a wrapper, yeah.
But much like, a lot of indie platformers do. Like you've seen everything in Binding of Isaac before, but you've never seen it like that.
Like that, yeah. And this is a good example of that, for sure. There's no other 2D platformer like the Eternal Life of Goldman. How do you feel about that title?
It is, it's...
I've struggled to remember it.
I remember Eternal Life. I didn't remember Goldman early on, but like, once you've played the game, you will remember it because they say Goldman's name all the time.
Constantly, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say what's a good title anymore.
It kind of is, you're right. Yeah, because Pokemon Pocopia didn't hold that game back at all.
No.
So anyway, again, we don't know when that game is coming out. It's sometime this year. It was supposed to come out at the end of last year, actually. That's what people thought anyway, and it didn't. And now they said 2026, but they haven't said what month or day.
Yeah,
so.
My guess is probably summer.
Yeah, with a demo already out there, a beefy one at that. Like, you're probably right. The game's probably done. They're polishing it now.
I'd say maybe have it in the Summer Games Fest stuff, and maybe in a publisher showcase at some point, that Microsoft's or Sony's presentation, and then drop it in July or August.
Yep, that makes sense.
Because you don't want to be out in the holiday season fighting with the big lads.
Yep. Keep your browser pointed to SIFTD, and I guarantee you we will have the release date trailer the minute it is published. But yeah, as of right now, we just don't know. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk next about what a bunch of you guys were hinting at in the open in our chat, wondering if we were going to discuss it. And this morning it came out that Epic has laid off 1,000 employees. We don't know for sure, but it does feel like the vast majority of those people were working on Fortnite because they killed 3 modes in Fortnite through these layoffs. They killed off Rocket Racing, which was the racing mode. They killed off Ballistic, and they killed off Festival Battle Stage. And they just said that those 3 modes were not getting enough people playing them to make them viable going forward, and so they have killed them. Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic, did issue a very long statement. I'm going to read it because it's very important to what we're about to discuss here. He said, the downturn in Fortnite engagement... Hello? What? What did you just say? The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making. We'll get to that. And we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. It's hard to read this. This layoff, together with over $500 million in identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place. Some of the challenges we're facing are industry-wide challenges: slower growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics, current consoles selling less than last generations, and games competing for time against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment. On a scale of 1 to 5, what level of BS would you mark that statement at?
It was probably around a 4.
Yeah, that's about right. So the funny part is, I kind of saw this coming. In the Shane Satterfield show last week or the week before, I talked about how... So this is coupled with the fact that they just increased the price of Fortnite V-Bucks and basically put a squeeze on all our children. Like, now each V-Buck costs more money. And they did adjust like how many V-Bucks you have to pay for the battle pass, but it still works out that Epic will make more money by increasing the prices on that stuff. So I reacted to that and was like, wait a minute, like, why are you increasing the price of V-Bucks? I went and did the math, and I tried to figure out how many people were working on Fortnite. The best that I could figure out was like 1,400 people, which is insane. But still, that's what I found online with 1,400 people. So I was like, all right. Going by Pactor's math, he says the average game developer makes $100K. Some make less, some make more. The average settles out to around 100. That's $140 million a year just in development costs. However, that is the vast majority of development costs, is developer salaries. It's the people. So $140 million a year. If you look at Epic's financials, they're making $5.8 billion a year. Now, obviously...
So where's the money going?
Right. So obviously some of that is Unreal Engine. They're developing that. That's part of it. The other part of it is mostly Fortnite. So...
And legal fees.
Right. So he actually mentioned in another part of his quote about how...
And throwing money down the giant black hole that is the Epic Game Store.
Right. That too. Which they still won't commit to whether it's profitable or not.
I can't be.
They're giving away like 5 games a week for free.
Yeah, they're in the same hole in that regard as Microsoft was with Game Pass.
Exactly. Yes.
And they don't even have a subscription model to work with.
Right, but instead of them saying like, hey, we made a bad play with the Epic Game Store, they're like, no, it's Fortnite. It's not Fortnite.
Well, especially because Sweeney hasn't really been all that concerned about losing tens of millions of dollars in the past. Like, they're like, we'll throw all this money at these legal battles with Apple and to compete against Steam, and we don't care because we make money hand over fist. And it's like, okay, are you sure? Because that may not last forever, and maybe I guess it didn't. But again, you're still sort of stuck with like, so where's the rum gone?
Where's the money?
Yeah, like,
so he crowned Epic the vanguard of the video game industry because they're taking on Apple and Google for their 30% cut. He then insinuated that, those court cases have cost us a lot of freaking money. And I believe that. Yeah. But...
Because you're not winning them.
You're not... Well, he did kind of win it. He's kind of won both. Like,
a little bit, but he didn't get any of the legal fees paid for.
Right. He also didn't
That's
get everything.
how you really win.
No, you're right. But even if they did spend a lot on legal fees, and they did. Let's say they spent $200 million on legal fees going after Apple and Google for the 30% cut. That is still nothing. I know you're sitting there right now saying, Shane, $200 million is a lot of money. It is, unless you're making $5.8 billion. I don't know if people understand how much a billion is. A billion is 1,000 millions. They've made 5.8 thousand millions every year on
A million seconds is about 2.5 weeks. A billion seconds is 33 years.
This is all
That's the difference
BS.
Between a million and a billion. 4.8 billion in revenue should be enough to cover anything you're doing short of a space program.
And here's the thing. Like, a lot of times when this stuff happens, we're like, oh, it's the stockholders. It's the line's always got to go up. They're a private company. They don't have public stockholders that they have to please and keep making
Like
sure
we
the
are,
line
he
is-
just says we are not taking in as much as we're spending on Fortnite. How?
That is BS.
How?
There is no way. There is no way. Unless they're not reporting their numbers accurately.
And like, yes, the engagement has fallen, but it's still the highest player engagement in the industry. This is once again, if you can't survive
off 70 million
at
uniques
number
a month.
at number one, what are you doing?
What are we doing?
Nothing smart. I mean, you can say that about a whole lot of things right now.
Really, you're right.
And I'm not even just that's not even a political joke.
No.
I'm talking about like business in general.
Period.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What Disney? Why have you not moved Doomsday off of the same day as Dune 3?
Yeah.
The IMAX screenings are all booked for Dune 3. You need to make $2 billion with this Doomsday movie. If you don't move this off of that day, you are not going to make the money you need to keep the MCU going.
Hubris.
And my God, you called the movie Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like the headline
boy.
writes itself. Move that shit to May already. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like that. It's like what are you doing?
Now, I'll say, too, when I heard this news, obviously I was worried about our friends who have been working there now for a decade at this point. It looks like they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they don't seem to have touched like the outside of the Fortnite team PR side of things, or like the they mostly do like marketing and video work, and it seems like it really has struck the Fortnite team itself, which is doubly weird because it's like, so did you not need them, or so are you not? What are you not gonna do now?
Right. Yeah.
Like what?
Well, they cut those 3 modes. Were they using 1,000 people to work on those 3 modes? Like, that's a lot of freaking people. It's almost a quarter of their entire workforce.
Have they cut the Survive the Night mode yet?
No.
The mode that was the original game?
No, they actually just brought that back, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's like a novelty or whatever.
Hey, remember when we were this?
Yeah.
What an idiot we were.
So they cut those 3 modes, but otherwise they haven't said what they're doing. But they did say that they are giving 4 months of severance to every employee that they've laid off, which is great. Like, you never get 4 months of severance.
Which, again, indicates that they do have money.
Right. Yeah. 1,000 people are getting 4 months of salary to not work. And usually severance is like a month. And if you are a really good employee, you get 2 months.
Yeah, it's usually length of time worked.
Yeah, there's usually an algorithm that works out. Here,
I mean, I got 3 months severance off of G4, and I'd been there for 9 years.
Right. Yeah.
So
they're given 4 months no matter how long these people have been there. So that is pretty generous, but still, they'll be losing their jobs. And in this environment right now, this work environment, in 4 months, you think they'll be able to find another job? My bet is no.
Probably not.
They will not.
Not in this environment.
Even though they worked on Fortnite. I still think that it just won't work. So I don't know what's going on in Epic. I've not been a huge fan of Epic for quite a while. I think that the lawsuit against Apple and Google is complete BS. If I built the App Store and spent all that expense and time to build it, and some jackhole just comes in and it's like, hey, I don't like that you're getting paid for that thing you spent $2 billion in 3 years building. F that. F that. That's, to me, that is capitalism. If you built something and you...
We made the iPhone.
Yeah.
We made the Android phone. If you want to make money on it,
make the
you make
effing
it through
phone
us.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, make the Epic phone.
I don't get it, man. So anyway, I've not been a fan of Epic since it started going after Apple and Google over this stuff, but now this is just what the F? I don't know. I hope our friends are okay, because we have a lot of friends.
Yeah, we
that
have a
are
lot of
working
people
there.
over there.
10 people that we know that work there. That all left LA to move out there to North Carolina from LA, which is a big adjustment. So I don't know what's going on over at Epic, but one thing I am 100% sure of is that Fortnite is still turning a gigantic profit. Gigantic. You go to any family gathering at the holidays and tell me Fortnite isn't making buku bucks, because you just watch the V-Bucks handed out hand over fist at every family gathering, because that's what the kids want. Unlike Final Fantasy, they do want the V-Bucks. So I don't know what's going on over there. This, like I said, I already went on a huge rant just over them increasing the price of the V-Bucks. And then this hits. And I'm like, what the F is going on over there? Is it just greed? Is it stupidity? Are they trying to siphon money for some other project we don't know about?
Raising the price of imaginary currency is such a weird...
It really is.
I mean, I know everything's more expensive now, but what is it? Is it costing you more to ship the V-Bucks in from the Strait of Hormuz? Like, why are they
There's
going?
There's no reason. They just want more money.
Yeah.
And to do it now.
I mean, I imagine it's because people are spending less money on V-Bucks.
I mean, the timing couldn't be worse.
They're trying to keep their revenue
the same
equal.
with people buying less. Absolutely, that's what's happening. Yeah. Because people are pinched right now because the economy is in a freaking free fall.
But it's like, there's no other explanation for that, so it's such a naked cash grab.
I know.
And
to do it now,
Yeah.
when parents have floated your boat and made you those billions of dollars for all these years, now you're screwing them.
And have visibly less money to spend,
Yeah.
as just like everybody does now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Packer's perspective on this was like, if a family has dedicated $20 a month to buying V-Bucks, they're still just going to buy $20 worth of V-Bucks. You increasing the price of V-Bucks, you're not going to make any more money. You're just going to sell less cosmetics and less stuff.
Yeah.
Period. So,
well,
I don't know.
And their move on that will probably be to make it so that everything's priced just high enough in V-Bucks to make it so you have to buy more than $20 worth of V-Bucks if you want anything good.
Yep. So,
which again, usually in situations like that where you're trying to sell customers something like that, you are disguising the greed somehow.
But
they are not doing that. It's remarkable.
It is bizarre.
They do seem to think they're invincible, and then they go and do this, and you're like, so you're not invincible, so what are you doing?
How are you not invincible when you have...
Why is the thing I say the most right now about everything, in every context, in every situation, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, if you have over 70... I mean, Pachter thinks it's like 120 million uniques a month. If you can't turn a profit on let's lowball it and say, if you can't turn a profit on 70 million uniques a month, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And what is anyone else doing chasing this model?
I know. They're like you want to be this? You want to have a 70 million install base every month and you can't make a profit on it? That's what you're shooting for? I mean, this may actually be the eye-opener that the industry needs, honestly.
I don't think we get those anymore.
It feels like we don't.
At some point, again... Why is no one looking at Capcom?
I know. They should be the model everyone
Like, I recognize that Capcom is not making billions hand over fist. Like, Capcom's revenue is probably not 5.8 billion.
No.
Right?
No.
But it's steady.
It's probably
reliable.
It's probably 3.
Yeah. It's steady.
And they don't lay off their employees. And they give raises. And they cut down on overtime.
You can count on it every year.
It's sustainable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That used to be what the point of a business was.
Yeah.
To make a certain amount of money and be comfortable with it.
And because Epic...
Now infinite growth has to be everything. And if you're not growing infinitely, you're a failure and they shut you down.
But the funny thing is, like, Epic doesn't have stockholders. It doesn't need that line to keep going up.
Tim Sweeney needs to buy more forest land, goddammit.
That's the thing. It's like... As much as I don't like that guy in business, like, that's awesome. That is
a cool thing he does.
Yeah. Like, that's really cool.
But you know what? Maybe you could have sold some of the forest off and
not fired
1,000 people.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. All right. Next up, we never, ever talk about sales here on GameFace. I know every other podcast, they do MPD every month as a topic in their show. We've done it every once in a while. We only really do it when an MPD that I look at kind of strikes me funky. And the MPD for February, Circana now, for February 2026 definitely shook me a little bit. So, number one, not a big deal. Resident Evil Requiem is the top selling game in February. Well-deserved, I would argue. But it's not just the best-selling game in February. It is the best-selling Resident Evil game ever. The fastest-selling Resident Evil. Who knows?
And also, it was only out for how many days at the end of February?
It crushed it. And it's already sold like 6 million units. It's 60% higher than Resident Evil Village. Yeah. And as I said, the fastest-selling Resident Evil ever. So
newsflash, kids, you're never getting a Resident Evil without Leon again.
No, probably not. They may bring other people in, but Leon
will always be there.
Yep. So that's not a surprise at number one. However, the rest of the top 10 basically is NBA 2K26, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Minecraft, Helldivers 2, EA Sports FC 26, Battlefield 6, Madden NFL 26. There's your top 8 games for February. At 9th, the first new game of the month comes in at 9th. You would never guess this. I wouldn't either. Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined was the best-selling new game for February of 2026. I really thought
What's old is new.
I really thought it would be a bunch of other games we're going to discuss here. Grand Theft Auto 5 comes in at 10.
Yeah, well, you can't get rid of that.
That is just insane, Matt.
Who doesn't have that?
Who? Who now doesn't have it?
Are people just buying PlayStations and getting a copy of GTA 5
and that's it
to put in them? And
I
that's
think
it?
so. I think so. It's number 10 in February of 2026. Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 10.
And this is still physical, right?
Yes.
So
this has digital in it,
has
too.
digital in it, too?
Except for Nintendo. Nintendo's only physical on MPD Circana. And so, next up, perfect timing for that, Mario Tennis Fever debuts at 11th. Now, again, it's a Switch 2 only game. Smaller installed base. If it had released for Switch 1, it probably would have done much better, but...
And we don't have digital.
Yep, and we don't have digital. But still, physical of this was only good enough to get it into the 11th slot for February.
I mean, it doesn't super shock me in the sense that it's a Mario Sports spinoff that did not have a stellar previous entry.
I would say that too, until it's like Helldivers 2, like Minecraft.
Yeah, but those are all games that have word of mouth driving people to them to this day.
I mean, to me, it's crazy that Helldivers 2 has enough cachet. Like the month before, it was 15th, and it was 5th this month.
Yeah, I don't know why it would fluctuate that way. Maybe there was an event or something. That's a word of mouth thing.
Robots launched.
I'm not up on Helldivers like currency.
Well, I think really. what I'm getting at here is that sales in general are in the toilet.
Well, also, like
basically, Resident Evil took all the sales this month. My bet is NBA 2K26 probably sold like 40,000, 30,000 units, and it's in second place.
I bet it probably sold more than that in the
run-up.
In the run-up to March Madness, people get in the mood.
Maybe. The NBA season kind of just...
Yeah, it always gets a little boost around this time.
Yeah. But all these new games are just failing. Red Dead Redemption 2 at 12th. Diablo 2 Resurrected at 13th, which is kind of interesting because that was kind of a re-release. And then at 14th, God of War Sons of Sparta. Easily the worst selling God of War game ever by 50 miles. It debuted at the 14th spot.
Well, I mean, I would hope they would have had reasonable expectations for what this was going to do.
I mean, thinking about, let's say NBA 2K26 sold 70,000, which is a lot for a game that's been out for a few months. I mean, where does that put God of War Sons of Sparta at the 14th slot? Like 30,000 sales in its opening month?
Maybe.
I mean, how many physical did they sell of Mario Tennis Fever? 50,000 maybe?
I don't even know where you go to get that.
This is horrible. My Hero Academia All's Justice debuts at 17th. Ghost of Yotei 15th. Forza Horizon 5 for PS5 16th. My Hero Academia 17th. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 at 18th. Pokemon Legends ZA 19th, and then the triple pack of Resident Evil games for Switch 2 came in at 20th. But all these new games, Matt, are just failing miserably. Now look, it's not like a Resident Evil game tanked. And to be fair, Resident Evil took a lot of money out of the market, even though it was only available for a few days. But still, these numbers are dire, Matt. I'm scared, man, about this industry. I'm really
not scared about the industry at all.
You really aren't?
Because the economy sucks.
Yeah.
Be scared about everything.
Yeah,
I am. Everything.
I am.
This has nothing to do with video games. This has everything to do with people having no disposable income anymore.
Yeah, but I mean,
and clearly people made Resident Evil a priority.
Yeah.
But none of this other stuff was.
Yeah.
And everything else that's in that top 10, it's not that it's old, it's that it's cheaper.
Right. They are discounted.
They're
You're right.
discounted.
That's a good point.
They're discounted, and you can play them forever because they're all online or they're all sports games. They're all multiplayer.
Multiplayer modes. People are looking for deals. You're right. Which is kind of surprising that Requiem sold so well because it was kind of short. It wasn't a really long game.
Yeah, but nobody knows that when they buy it.
I mean, some reviews should mention it. We do when we review games, but not every does.
Not going to determine.
Not everyone does.
Dissuade.
Right.
And also, you're supposed to play it multiple times. It has New Game Plus in it.
Yeah. But
it's about as long as the Resident Evil is.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's not just games, but this is a video game podcast, so we're talking about the games.
But I don't think this is some kind of indication that the medium is in trouble. It's an indication that we're all in trouble.
Well, I mean, I think also tied into that is the fact that you have 50, 60 million Xbox owners that have just disappeared off the face of the earth and didn't buy a PlayStation and didn't buy a Switch.
Yeah, I mean, but like, movies are in the same situation.
Things are bad.
Project Hail Mary did very well, but very little else is doing that well.
Yeah.
Again, people will make time and they will prioritize disposable income for something that is compelling and they really want to see, and that will be Project Hail Mary or Zootopia 2 or Resident Evil Requiem. And certainly GTA 6 whenever that shows up. Like, nothing matters what kind of recession or depression we're in. I think GTA 6 will still be a top seller.
People will prioritize it.
People
They'll stop buying games for 3 months to make sure they can buy. I would also argue, Matt,
because entertainment usually does do still pretty well in an economic downturn.
Films have always done great
because you still need escapism.
Yep, games have typically done great in downturns as well. People view them as a good deal for entertainment value or whatever.
And I think they will, but like again, you're talking about, especially in terms of games now, you're going to be talking about stuff selling that's from 2 years ago because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's stuff people haven't played yet because they didn't want to spend $60 or $70 on it at the time, and now it's 40 or 30, and now's the time because they don't have a job.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I might as well get this 30. I might as well get Crimson Desert when it's $40 and try to figure that out while I'm filling out applications.
Yeah. I mean, the timing for the economy and everything. Like, one thing I will say is the economy is so bad that maybe GTA is just $70.
I think they did say this week that they are not going to raise the price.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Oh, I missed that.
I saw a thing where one of the Rockstar guys was like, "We're not going to go crazy with the pricing."
I think now you can't.
No, absolutely not.
It's just everybody's broke.
If it had come out 2 years ago, I think you could have pushed it.
Not only is everybody
you could have
broke,
at least made it 70 when everything else was 60.
Yeah. Not only is everybody broke, everybody's retirement was just zapped. So a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't have as much disposable income right now, but I got this big chunk of money sitting here, so I'm okay. I can buy stuff like I normally do. That big chunk of money just got chopped.
Yeah, you might need that $70 later.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch, but I do think now there's no way you sell GTA 6 for more than $70.
No, I think,
even 80, I think, would be.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, you can get away with like a collector's edition for 80 or something, but like baseline gotta be 70.
Yeah, I agree. So, Matt's right. It's not just the gaming industry, but the gaming industry is in deep crap, like pretty much every industry right now. So, we'll see how it all plays out.
Certainly, Fortnite's not profitable anymore.
Yeah. Okay. It would be interesting if
EA is doing all right though.
It would be interesting if MPD or Circana now went and tracked.
A dumb name.
It is. Went and tracked the sales of Fortnite V-Bucks and put that in the charts against games.
That's everything else, yeah.
I bet you it would be number one every single month.
Oh, guaranteed.
I think Resident Evil probably would have beat it that month, but otherwise, probably it would win every month. Maybe it would still beat Resident Evil.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might.
I mean, what is that?
6 million is $70.
6 million is $70.
Yeah. And that was only like a handful of days.
It's $420 million.
Fortnite makes more than that, I bet.
Probably.
Yep. In a month, it makes more than that. But again, that's an extreme case, Resident Evil Requiem. It's one of the best, fastest selling Resident Evil ever. So it's an anomaly. But anyway, things are not looking good, people. There's nothing we can do to fix it, honestly, other than vote in November. That's it. That's all we can do to try and fix it. That's our last chance.
Fortnite generates roughly $400 to $600 million in monthly revenue.
Yeah. So it would be number one.
Basically, Fortnite makes a Resident Evil 9 every month.
But they have to lay people off.
But it's not making any money.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We're going to talk next about PlayStation Network. A bunch of changes happened in a very short period of time over on PSN. And one of the changes is that I can't call it PSN anymore because PlayStation is changing the name, the branding of PlayStation Network PSN to some yet unknown new name. I can't imagine that they could ever come up with a name that would be better than just PlayStation Network and PSN. Why would PlayStation do this? I get it's not that big of a deal. Like, who cares?
It isn't, but it's also like, why bother?
But why even bother?
What? Like, who has the bee in their bonnet at Sony about this being an issue?
Yeah, it's like it's like all the hashtags that have been used for the last 20 years with PSN, like all that stuff is now rendered moot. Like, why? For what purpose?
Like, I don't. What have you always wanted to call it?
Yeah, and why didn't you just call it that in the beginning? Like,
maybe they want to call it PlayStation Online and they couldn't because of Phantasy Star Online.
Maybe.
And now the copyright's expired and they can call it PSO.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they're going to call it Play Online Station and it'll be the POS.
Yeah. Look, I'm not one to really brag because almost everybody, when they ask me, like, what's the name of your company? And I say Sifted, they're like, what? What's that? Or, like, new people who knew me from my Game Trailers days who stumble across Sifted. They'd be like, oh, I'm so glad I found you. I love GameFace, blah, blah, blah. It's like old school Invisible Walls, but I hate the name. Like, they always hate it. And because a lot of people don't come to the website and realize that it actually means something, that it's what the website does. Because people just don't use websites anymore. But anyway, like, I'm not the one to really crunch on somebody about how they named something, is what I'm getting at. But this is still just stupid. Like, it's just common sense to name something. When someone says it, they know what it is, which is why I named my company what I did. The disconnect is between the content and the website for me. For them, it's just one product. So changing it from PSN to something else makes no sense. Like, I can't wait to see what they come up with. Because what could it be that would be better? I can't fathom it. But maybe they have a name that is better, and in the end I'll be like, oh, I was wrong, I was stupid, but I don't know. So anyway, they're changing PlayStation Network from PSN to something else that we don't know yet. A good thing that PlayStation did on PSN this week was it removed 1,000 shovelware games, finally, from PSN. So PlayStation is finally starting to take it seriously. Also, last week, I believe, or the week before, Nintendo also did a big purge of shovelware off of the eShop. So it does seem like finally they're starting to get it, but I wonder what happened.
Maybe stop putting them up there in the first place.
Right. Well, that's what I'm hoping.
Is Legend of Black Tiger okay?
Right. But that's what I'm hoping is if they're doing this, that they're going to be more stringent going forward about what they actually allow onto their services. We'll see, but this is a good step.
Just the number of games in like the first page of eShop stuff that have the word hentai in the title is remarkable.
It really is. Yep. So hopefully this is a sign that PlayStation is moving away from that stuff, and it'll be a little more picky about the games that it puts on PSN going forward. And then another story that we was in a prior episode of GameFace that we didn't get to is that PlayStation on PSN has started experimenting with dynamic pricing. And when people first heard about this, they freaked out. They were like, oh my God, dynamic pricing, because it's usually used for airlines. And the way it works on airlines is you search for a flight from your IP address, you get a certain price, you come back the next day and search for that flight on that same IP address, and they have dynamically increased the price because they know that you're trying to find those tickets. So a lot of people just assumed that dynamic pricing on the PlayStation Store was the same thing. Now, it could be. But what has happened so far, actually, is dynamic pricing has only lowered prices for some territories. It has yet to increase them. Now, just instituting dynamic pricing, I think, just puts consumers on guard immediately anyway. So it's probably not a good idea to do that, even if you're doing it to help people. But ultimately, it could be used for evil as well, where certain regions are being charged more money for the same game that you can buy much cheaper in some other region. So people were freaking out about that. I think once they found out that it hadn't been used for evil yet, people kind of calmed down about it. But that doesn't mean that it can't change in the future, and it can't be used for evil eventually going forward. So bunch of stuff going on at PSN. Does any of that strike you in a particular way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird that anyone's even rearranging those deck chairs to me.
It doesn't seem to make much sense to me. It's just like, why? Of all this stuff, the removing the shovelware is the only thing that really makes sense to me. As far as like making big changes at PlayStation Network. But again, it might be hubris. It's like they're the leader now. I mean, they beat Game Pass, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean
Game Pass kind of beat itself.
It did, but ultimately, I think PlayStation PSN became the winner. It's like when we publish articles on Sifted showing what content is going to be added to the higher tiers of PlayStation Network each month, those articles do tons of views. Like more than the article that we put up every month that talks about what games are being added and subtracted from Game Pass for the month. So anecdotally, it shows that at least our audience, much more people are subscribed to PlayStation Network than they are to Game Pass. That may not have been the case a year ago when the price of Game Pass was reasonable. Now that it's so expensive, definitely more traffic goes to that PSN stuff. So, like it or not, Sony's doing something right. A lot of people are subscribing.
Yeah, they're not raising their prices over and over again.
Well, they did. Remember they had that big overhaul where they increased all the prices for all the tiers?
Yeah, but then they didn't do it again.
Again, like 6 months later. Yeah. So whatever PlayStation's doing with PSN, it's working. It doesn't seem like a great deal to me. Like those higher tiers of PlayStation Plus, I have no interest in those at all. But a lot of people do. So we can criticize PlayStation for what it's doing with PSN, but it's winning. So it has the right to say we're doing it right. And we probably don't have a right to criticize it because it's the market.
They're doing
leader.
it the least wrong.
That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. But anyway, if you're a PlayStation owner, and pretty much all of us are at this point because there aren't any Xbox owners anymore, you may notice some of these changes come into PSN in the near future, or maybe you already noticed that they removed all of those shovelware games. And again, I hope they really have a better filter going forward so they don't just repopulate the store with more junk. But we'll see. Next up, we're going to talk about The Last of Us on HBO. The show has been on a hiatus for a while. I think they just started filming season 3 last week or whatever. And so stuff is starting to come out about the third and what I think is going to be the final season of The Last of Us on HBO. And so they're starting to nail down some of the casting for characters that did not appear in the first 2 seasons. And a little bit of controversy erupted over this because the show has cast a CIS actor.
Cis.
Is that how I'm supposed to say
Yes.
it? Cis. They've cast a cis actor to play a trans role.
Yeah, it's not an acronym.
It's not.
No, it's
Okay.
just a Latin word for what is it? Not changing.
Okay.
So it just cis and trans are. I mean, you use that in chemistry.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like things that don't.
One changes,
One changes,
doesn't.
one doesn't.
Yeah. And so they hired a non-trans person to play a trans role in the show. And at first, I was like, oh, that doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the trans community well enough to know if they would be offended by it or they wouldn't be.
They're not happy about it.
They are not happy about it?
Because you can definitely find a trans actor who could do that role.
Because
no question.
What was HBO's? They said that the person that they hired embodied the role or something.
Well, that's a very weird way to put that.
It's also a very strange terminology to use for sure.
She is a good actor. Like, I can understand why you cast her in something. But I have a hard time believing you couldn't just find an equally good trans actor who could play that role. And just avoid all of this.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Well, I'll say this. It felt like, for me personally...
Beginning to wonder if any of this was related to why Neil backed out of being involved in Season 3.
Yeah, and I mean, it may be because he backed out, they did this. Because
that
he's
is
not
also
there.
true. Yeah, if he wasn't there to, like, say,
the
hey,
cop's
that's a
not
bad
there
idea.
anymore, yeah. I mean, it could be one or the other. We just don't know.
I don't think he would have been okay with that.
No.
I think he would have wanted to remain true to the character.
Now, my knee-jerk reaction was what you said the trans community has sort of reacted to it. Like, at first I was like, that's bad. But then, like, I didn't think about it. I curated the article and went on about my workday. I came back later, and it was one of the most popular, most commented articles on SIFTD for the week. And I was surprised to see that pretty much everybody was like, it should just be the best actor. And even people that I know are LGBTQ that are on our site agreed. And they also said that, like, I don't think that they should hire a trans person to play this role. They should just hire the person who's best for the role. So I was surprised to see that. Again,
how many of those people were actually trans, though?
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know, honestly.
That's the only demographic that matters in terms of having a reaction.
The other LGBTQ folks don't matter.
I mean, they can have their opinions, but they're not really in the same boat, so they can't really have the same experience with it.
It's true. Yeah.
And also, they went through years and years of having straight people play gay people, and they didn't like that. So why is this any different?
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, actually.
I mean, it wasn't as widespread because, there was certainly some disconcertment in the gay community about Tom Hanks playing a gay man with AIDS in Philadelphia, but you didn't hear a lot about it in the media because back then, if you said you were gay in public, you could lose your job or be killed.
Right.
So it's a little different now.
It is, yeah, for sure.
For now.
Although,
for now,
is it all that different? I don't know,
see.
man.
That is a good point.
But anyway, they are filling the roles of Lev and Yara. And if you remember, they're the Seraphite brother and sister that Abby meets up with on her side of the story in The Last of Us Part 2. Unfortunately, I did not have B-roll of those characters to show you guys, unfortunately. I spent time yesterday trying to dig up footage, and I could not. But
they are pretty late in the game.
They are, yeah. And my B-roll, I'd only recorded like the first 3 hours or something of the game. And so
you generally wouldn't want to show stuff that late in the game for the
Yeah.
stuff we talk about in terms of a review anyway. So it makes sense you would not have footage of them.
Yeah. So Lev is the trans boy in the show, and that's the role that's being played by an Asian girl, basically. And I don't know, but I have heard from multiple people that agree with you that she is a good actor. So
Yeah, I don't. Now I'm blanking on her name, but she's been in some good stuff.
It's Michelle Mao. She comes from Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm sorry. It's Kiriana Crater. That's who it is. And she was in Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
That's right, the Skeleton Crew.
And then Michelle Mao plays the other Seraphite character. So, and according to Deadline, the producers of the show felt that she, quote, best embodied the character, unquote. And the character...
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either. And they did share also that the character will still be a transgender boy in the show. So they're not, like, changing the character in the show to fit the actor. They're going to keep it the same. So, anyway, this was a story that generated a ton of discussion, and I just want to give props to the SIFTD community for this, because the conversation in this story was great. Everybody was respectful. Everybody respected everybody else. There was no name-calling. There was no anger. People discussed it like adults. And again, if you're an adult who loves video games, just go to SIFTD, man. I don't know what you're doing on YouTube and the hellscape that is X and all these other platforms. There's a home for you at SIFTD.net. I don't know how many more times I got to say it. I don't know what you people are doing dealing with these morons on the internet. You don't have to do it. You can share your favorite hobby with other people who are like you. Go to SIFTD.net. But anyway, I was proud of our community in that discussion, the way this topic was discussed. I'm just going to say that. So, kudos, crew. I was keeping an eye on it, and you guys did very well. So, anyway, like I said, it's hit me a couple different ways. At first, I was like, that's wrong, and I was really angry about it, and I let it sit, and then I came back and started reading through the conversations again with people who are LGBTQ, and it made me feel a little bit better about it. But I do agree with you, Matt. It still seems like you could probably find a trans actor who could do who could play the role just fine and avoid all this.
I mean, right wingers are going to be mad there's a trans character in the thing at all,
right?
And now non-right wingers are some are going to be mad that they're not the character's not played by a trans person. So I was like, you've managed to piss almost everyone off.
That's a lose-lose decision. Yeah, I hear you. So anyway. Just so you know, and we don't know when the new season's coming.
Like I just don't understand what embodies the character means, because the embodiment of Lev as a character is being a trans boy in a suppressive society that is going to kill him for being who he is.
Yep. I mean, just using the word.
So how does a non-trans actor embody that? Because I don't really know anything about Lev beyond that. Like, Lev is not really a character beyond that.
Yeah.
So when the whole point of Lev is to demonstrate how intolerant and terrible the Seraphites have become in a different way than how terrible everyone else has become, because obviously
everyone's terrible.
Everyone sucks in that world, but they suck in a very different, specific way.
Kind of
special kind of suck. Yeah. What else about Lev did you think was embodied by this actress? Like, which again, nothing against her. She was very good in Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is certainly a possibility that the best actor was chosen, but I just have a hard time believing you didn't have some trans actors who could also embody a persecuted trans boy.
That choice of words also just rubs me the wrong way.
Like, and that may just be the marketing.
You could have used any other word.
And that much may be the marketing person choosing the wrong ChatGPT excerpt.
You could have used encapsulates. I mean, I could come up with 5 synonyms to use other than a word that has the word body in it.
Yeah. Encapsulates also wouldn't really make a lot of sense, but at least it wouldn't go quite back to the straight heart of the problem.
The matter.
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't know when this is coming out this season. Like, they're just shooting now, so my guess is early 2027.
I'd say later than that.
Yeah.
I mean, they shoot now. They finish probably in 3 or 4 months. They do special effects for a year, probably next fall.
Really? You think effects will take a year?
I would think so.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Depends how long this thing is. I don't know.
But definitely 2027 at the earliest.
I would definitely say mid 2027 at the earliest.
Okay.
But we'll see. Maybe they'll rush it and it'll look even worse than. You don't know. I don't know.
No, you're right. All right.
Warner Brothers going through some shit right now.
It's true. So. Yep. All right. Let's move on. Next up, we're going to talk about another controversy, crazy turmoil. We also talked about this on GameFace like a year ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
About
when it happened.
The Subnautica, it was about a year ago, about Subnautica 2. And basically what happened is that about a year ago, Unknown Worlds, who is the CEO, or the Unknown Worlds CEO Ted Gill, and Unknown Worlds is a studio that's making Subnautica 2, and other senior team members were unexpectedly fired from the studio, and the game's launch was delayed. Krafton, the publisher of the game, alleged that Gill, the CEO, and his colleagues were quote-unquote checked out and had failed to deliver a game that was ready for early access. However, the fired leaders filed a lawsuit claiming that Krafton was trying to get out of its obligation to pay them a $250 million bonus that was contingent upon the release of Subnautica 2. So basically, the developers were saying, oh, wait a minute, this game is ready for early access. You're just saying it's not, so you won't have to pay us that bonus. So that kind of simmered for a while. They fired the CEOs. They installed some other stooge CEO, and the development team continued to work on the game. As we said, the former CEO and his colleagues took him to court just this week.
Because what happened there really felt like if you have any kind of contracts in place, that feels very illegal. Mm-hmm. What the publisher did.
Yeah, it's crazy illegal. So they took him to court. And this week, the judge ordered Krafton, basically Krafton lost the court case, and it ordered Krafton to extend the deadline on the conditions for the $250 million bonus, meaning you're going to pay those people that bonus.
People, they got it.
Yep. And they have to reinstate Gill into his former role as CEO. I love this judge. This judge is a man. And Krafton at first was playing along. It was like, okay, all right. It issued a statement from its stooge CEO that they had installed saying that it would respect the judge's ruling, but it said, we also look forward to we look forward to working with Ted Gill to support a smooth transition and work towards a successful launch. While we respectfully disagree with this week's court ruling and intend to explore all legal avenues, our goal is to minimize disruption to the team and to the release plan. We remain committed.
Sounds like a very welcoming environment Ted's coming back to.
We remain committed to an open development approach, working closely with the community as development continues, and we are focused on developing the best possible experience to developers. And so, after it issued that statement, the stooge CEO sends an email out to all the developers working on the game saying, we now have a release date for May. So he directly basically went against the judge's orders and announced a release date, even though he technically wasn't even CEO anymore.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that's not going to stick.
It's not going to stick. So the old CEO, who is now the new CEO again, is like, no, this is not going to happen.
Well, then did you see that the Krafton guy that made the call for it, because it seemed very obviously illegal what had happened. ChatGPT told him it wasn't illegal, so he just did it.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Your only job as a company leader is to make choices.
Yeah.
And you're offloading that to a hallucinating AI chatbot. Great.
Well, the old/new CEO issued a statement after that happened, and it's quote, announcing the release of a game is momentous, and it is typically accompanied by significant marketing activity, fanfare, and community coordination. And most importantly, the announcement is carefully designed to maximize excitement for the game. That entire process was supposed to be driven by Mr. Gill. However, in defiance of the court's opinion, Krafton has now taken that away, further damaging the game and sowing additional confusion among the community. Here's my question, Matt. Why would Krafton do this?
Because they're run by morons.
How are the management people at Krafton that handle this not fired?
I don't know.
Immediately fired.
I don't know who's in charge of Krafton, if they're public or private or whatever's going on there.
If you're an independent developer, why would you ever sign a deal with Krafton after this?
Oh, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Ever. This
have
the end.
Doomed your indie business.
Everyone involved in management at Krafton is out of the game industry forever now.
Well, I mean, Krafton does big budget stuff still. So that stuff is presumably going to continue, but no indie will ever sign with Krafton now.
I wouldn't sign with them even if I was an indie.
To be fair,
how
Matt,
can you trust these people again?
You're right, Matt. After this, if I was developing a big budget game, I wouldn't sign with Krafton either. No. How do you do this?
Literally anyone else.
This is one of the biggest management gaffes.
This company made an illegal choice that fired a man, disrupted all these lives, cost them all this money, and is continuing to do that because some moron in charge asked ChatGPT if it could be done. And because these AI models are meant to encourage you no matter what to keep you coming back, it said that he was a genius and that's what he should do, and that's what he did. And now it's like, no, you idiot, you should not have robbed that bank because the lemon juice did not make you invisible.
After the court order, how could you do this? Even before the court order, they had dropped the ball already.
Because he probably asked ChatGPT what to do.
You're probably right. That's probably true. It is, I mean, it's just corporate suicide in the games industry to do this.
In any industry to do this.
Now look, indie developers, some of them are desperate. And some of them maybe still will sign with Crafton because they're like, we can't find anybody else. But all that means is that they're never going to get the pick of the litter. They're always going to get the worst projects.
At the very least, it means that you're going to, like, ironclad every contract double time.
Yeah.
And, like, figure
you're
out...
no longer competitive with the market anymore.
Yeah, like, if you do anything weird with us, we're out, and we get all our stuff back for free. I mean, really, if I was Gil or anything, I'd be like, what do we need to do to get Subnautica back for ourselves and just go somewhere else?
I think it's too late. It's already sold, signed, sealed, and delivered. So
at this point, they've breached their contract so hard that I think Crafton could theoretically lose that in court.
Maybe. I mean, my guess is...
If you're cool with not seeing Subnautica for another 2 years.
My guess is what happens is they take their $250 million and they start another studio.
Yeah.
And then they start a copycat franchise just to spite Crafton. That's better than Subnautica will ever be because Crafton's going to start having some made-for-hire studio working on Subnautica after Subnautica 2.
Just call it H2O.
This is one of the dumbest things I have ever seen a video game company do. Ever. Like, it's been a year, Matt. And in all that time, nobody talked any sense into Crafton and said, what are you doing? What have you thought about your business after this game is published?
Have you tried to talk sense into someone who thinks ChatGPT tells them what to do? It's like arguing with a cult member. It really is impossible to make any... Because, like, well, that's not what the AI said. It's like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm telling you something different.
This is just bonkers. So anyway, that's what's going on with Subnautica.
Throw another one in the what are you doing file.
Here's the other thing. Do you think it's going to launch into early access in May? Or do you think that there's going to all just...
I'll be surprised if we ever play this game at this rate.
I'm starting to wonder. But no matter what, they're going to have to pay those guys that $250 million.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they get paid, I don't really care.
I don't either. I mean, I want to play Subnautica.
I care in a sense. I like
we both
Subnautica
like the first one.
Yeah, I would definitely want to play
I would like to play
too.
it, but you know what? If it's better for them to not release it, I'm fine.
But also, I think there is a legal recourse to get their IP back.
Yeah,
I think you could. You can definitely. It would take time, but I can wait for that. And I would rather wait for a time when I know that when I buy Subnautica 2, not a single cent is going to Crafton.
Yeah. Seriously.
So.
I don't want to pay any money for that game and give money to Crafton. And that's the thing. The community that they kept talking about in these press releases are going to be like, F you.
Yeah. They know what you did.
Yeah. They're way smarter than they give them credit for. So anyway, who knows if we'll play Subnautica 2. As of right now, it's supposed to come out in early access in May. I would give that a 30% chance of happening right now.
If
maybe lower. 25, 20.
I mean, I cannot imagine anyone over at that development studio is like got their head down on this thing right now because you're like, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's like a month and a half away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. It's like a 10% chance that it comes out in May. So, and it's maybe 50-50 that it ever comes out because Crafton, after a year, still didn't learn anything.
No.
It's still acting like a moron. So, we'll see, but regardless, Crafton, this is one
They
case.
must have really not had that $240 million.
Seriously.
They must still not.
I mean,
that's
money,
my only guess is like we can't give them this money.
We can't pay the money, which is probably why they did this in the first place.
Yeah.
They may have to...
That's the only theory I would have on that. Like, why else would you do that?
But even if that's the case, you don't mess with this game because the last game made like $500 million.
Right, you'll get the money back.
You'll get the money if you just let the game be developed and leave them alone. It's the whole thing is idiotic.
Probably why you signed the deal in the first place.
Right, yes.
Would you just not think they were going to do it?
It's so dumb. But anyway, we'll see how it all plays out, and when we get more information on this, we'll come back and we'll follow up with it.
What other stupid decision did you make that you used that $240 million on, and now it's gone, and you realize you couldn't pay these people, and like you have to do some weird shenanigans to get out of it? Like that's what it sounds like. I mean,
probably didn't Crafton...
If this was a dumb TV show, that is what would have happened here.
Didn't Crafton publish that game from Glenn Schofield, the zombie game?
Oh, the which...
After he left Call of Duty and he started that studio, what was that game called? It's set in a prison.
You know
what I'm talking
Callisto
about.
Protocol?
Yeah.
Is that them?
I think that was Crafton. And that game
maybe that
bombed.
is where that money. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Crafton.
Maybe they thought that. I mean, if that is who did that, I thought that was the PUBG people.
That's Crafton.
That's Crafton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Crafton publishes PUBG, and that's their other cash cow. Like, You figure in
Well, I
2
don't know.
months you make $200 million from that.
More like a cash goat at this
Yeah.
point. I don't know.
Still, I think it's still earning pretty well for him. But
I
anyway,
would think so, but it's like, I guess maybe that. I mean, Callisto Protocol was a while ago. You'd think they.
this happened a year ago where they didn't want to pay the $250 million.
You think they would have put that much money in Callisto Protocol?
Yeah.
$240 million on that?
Maybe not that much, but with marketing and everything, maybe.
I mean, if you're trying to pay, if you have to pay $240 million and you only have $140 million, you're probably still like probably coming up with something desperate anyway.
Remember, they also had to spin up a studio just to make that game that they dissolved as soon as the game was over.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's the latest on Subnautica 2. Up next, our last topic for GameFace 473. We teased this a little bit earlier. Street Fighter 6 just had its highest concurrent player count on Steam since launch. More players playing Street Fighter 6 on Steam now than ever have. Now, to be fair, a lot of people have bought it since it came out. A lot of people bought it for cheap, so its install base is much bigger. But for some reason, Matt, this Alex DLC just brought everybody out. What is it about Alex that got so many people motivated to come back and play this game and buy the DLC?
People love Alex.
What is it about him?
He's just popular.
I've never picked up on it. Like, why is that?
He's just popular. He's a like a close combat strongman brawler character that like has different tools in his toolbox than like a Zangief. And he's been I would say he's probably the most popular original character from Street Fighter 3.
Really?
Like from back in the day. It's either him or what's his name? Urian or whatever. Or actually no, it's him or Dudley.
Okay.
Him or Dudley.
Yeah,
Dudley is also very popular.
Yeah.
No, I mean you can tell he's just a different kind of. Doesn't play like the normal strikers. He's got a lot of different things, and I'm not a fan of him. Like I'm not. It's not the kind of character I play. But people have been requesting him since Burma 6 came out.
Oh, really?
So, and I don't think he was in 5.
He wasn't.
So he's been gone a long time. So that's probably part of it.
So he's a popular character. That certainly should help. But, Sagat was also a popular character.
Yeah, but Sagat never went anywhere.
Yeah.
He's been in all of them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is he's been missing for a long time.
And then it seems to me that the fandom, they're not excused.
There's also a little bit of, like, anytime Capcom acknowledges Street Fighter 3 is sort of a moment of celebration. Like, people are happy with Elena being in this and all that.
I wasn't aware of that, actually.
Street Fighter 3, it took a long time for Capcom to sort of acknowledge that while Street Fighter 3 was not a hit, the hardcore FGC loved it. It is probably one of the best 2D fighters ever made. It's Third Strike specifically. And so every time they actually remember that and acknowledge that it happened, the FGC enjoys that.
I see.
And Alex, the request for Alex is probably a bit like kind of emblematic of that, I would say. I mean, they do have a lot of Street Fighter 3 characters in this already, a fair amount already.
Yeah.
But Alex was a community request.
Okay. Now,
and you can even see the way they're playing it up here, where Ryu does not scream for help very often, but he just did in that clip.
Well, poking around on the internet trying to figure this out, it appeared to me that the fandom is really caught up in the lore behind Alex, and that there's something to do with his backstory that people have been waiting a really long time to have resolved, and so people were hoping that this game would then resolve it, but then it ends up being resolved in that he is dating his cousin.
Yeah, it's the kid with his second cousin or something. I don't know. If there was lore about Alex that was relevant to this before this, I'm not familiar with it.
You're not familiar with it?
I mean, Street Fighter lore is vague and ever changing most of the time.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got kind of a baseline characteristic, and that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about the Street Fighter 3 cast, really. Like, I don't know why Q looks like that. I don't know what Gil's deal is.
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I can pretty much guess what the deal with Dudley is. Alex, I just always assumed was probably another guy who sort of wandered in tangentially from somewhere near Final Fight, and here
there's some crazy backstory to him. Again, I was digging around on the internet, and it was crazy. People were writing paragraphs about his backstory and how he knew this person and knew this woman, and trying to explain how they say it's his first cousin.
All right.
On the internet. And they're just a lot of fans are trying to cope.
I mean, I guess not technically illegal, but very, very odd.
Yeah. And for it to just blow up and make Street Fighter 6 huge again.
Yeah, like I don't think
Is it a morbid
I don't think
curiosity?
Street Fighter 6 is blown up on Steam because he's fucking his cousin. I think it's because Alex is popular.
Yeah. Well, you don't think it's that people are trying to figure out the whole backstory of it and everything? No.
You don't need to play the game to do that.
Yeah.
You just watch the ending.
Yeah, but then why
YouTube.
does anybody play video games? You can watch every ending, you know?
Yeah, but that's why you can watch the Street Fighter ending.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's what I would do.
Because you also got to pay money to play as him.
I mean, can you remember a game that did this where it was out? Because Street Fighter 6 has been out for, what, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of a game that 4 years after launch had its biggest, week ever?
Yes.
What?
No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I wonder if Cyberpunk ever did that.
I think Cyberpunk might have had it with Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
Or maybe the 2.0 update.
Yeah. But
That's
it's
possible.
very rare
It's not
for
common,
this to happen. Yeah.
But I mean, that is kind of what you want fighting games to do.
Yeah. You want it to be a platform that people get excited about when you release new content for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that definitely worked here.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that Alex would do that.
Capcom is again, remember that Street Fighter 6's player base is hardcore fighting game fan, and they all know who Alex is.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Resident Evil members here.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I mean, I don't know where they'll go from here. Like Alex was like kind of the top request, I think, if I remember right. I don't get it. But maybe they want Cody next if we're just gonna go on a whole trifecta of characters I don't want to play as.
Yeah.
Because Cody has a weird backstory too. Cody's the strongest fighter in the universe.
I didn't know that.
That's why he was in jail for some reason, even though Hagar was the mayor, and he helped Hagar rescue his daughter, who he's married to. But he was in jail for 6 years.
Oh.
For public beating people up in public. I'm like, but the mayor was with him. Like, what is it? And Guy didn't go to prison for that either. Like, what? He did something. I don't know. Maybe, and it's like. Maybe
that's going to be the next big one.
But the big reveal was that he's actually the strongest fighter in all of Capcom, the Capcom verse, and he could have basically just broken down the wall of his cell at any time, but he didn't.
He just wanted to do his time.
The law. And then he gets he gets out in Street Fighter Alpha 3 or whatever, and he's all in the striped pajamas with the chains, and he's still got the chains on in Street Fighter 4. And apparently the reason he wears the chains is because he's so strong a fighter, he doesn't need to have the chains off, and he considers it to be basically a handicap that makes it a more fair fight. And I'm like, where the fuck did that concept of Cody come from? Cody's the boring guy you got stuck with if two other people picked Hagar and Guy first. That's who Cody is.
This is the kind of stuff that I was reading, though, about Alex. These rabbit holes that you would go down where
all the Capcom
I didn't know if
characters
any of it was true or anything. I was just like, these people are nuts.
I mean, it's true until they contradict it in the next game. Right. You go try to figure out a timeline of who Blanca is.
Yeah.
And piece that one together from the beginning, and whether or not he knew Dan, and why he knows Dan, and who Blanca's mother is, and whether she's related to Dan's father. Probably not. Yeah. Maybe in one game that might have been a dream match. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's very weird. Because it didn't matter. And then there's the cartoon continuity, and then there's the anime movie continuity, and then there's the Alpha series canon. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Yep.
Has Ryu met Cyclops? Is that canon? We don't know. Probably they mention it sometimes.
Yeah.
The Capcom fighting game lore is bonkers because no one gave a shit for so long, and now they kind of try to resolve it all, but it's all kind of dumb.
Yeah.
It's not like Tekken where Harada was telling a soap opera from the beginning and sort of had control over that for 20 some years.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter was just wait,
we should be doing that?
You care about what these characters do?
Well, that's kind of what this brings up. Is how important is story in fighting games? It feels like even Street Fighter fans care about it more than you might think.
Somewhat, but mostly because I think it's kind of a running gag at this point that it's so weird and stupid that you might as well keep up with it, and so you can tell people about how weird Vega is, kind of thing. But try to figure out the lore behind the dolls and Cammy and Bison and all that, and how he's Cammy was supposed to be a cloned body. Cammy is a clone of Bison. He was supposed to transfer his life energy into and live as Cammy, but then the dolls are all that, and there was 12 of them, and they're all named after months of the year. But Cammy got away and doesn't remember who she is, but then she did remember who she is, and now she's but she's so strong because she was the most rebellious one, so Bison liked her, so he decided he wants her body to live in now, and then he doesn't, but he's still cloning himself in a new body. That's who Seth is. Seth is another male clone of him, and then like a bunch of the other. I mean, it's just like, well, and then there's the other guy. What's his name? The guy in the blue jacket, flippy dude from Street Fighter 4. Who the French guy? Oh, that guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Leon or Leon. You know, he's
Liam,
another
maybe.
Liam. He's another Bison clone. He's a Bison clone who like got away or like accidentally became normal colored or something. I don't know. Like,
exactly.
It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
Honestly, the most coherent story in fighting games remains Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they knew what it was from the beginning. They never tried to be more than that.
And they've stuck with it.
And even when they rebooted it, they're like, oh yeah, we're just rebooting the whole universe and doing a new timeline. And the new timeline is very conscious that it's a new timeline, and it's going to do a bunch of stuff different the way we would have done it if we were,
thinking about it
at the time.
Yeah.
And that is what they did. And then they rebooted it again, and now Mortal Kombat seems to be kind of over.
Yeah.
Except for the new movie,
right,
which is coming out in May.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that does.
All right, well, that's the latest on Street Fighter 6. Before we move on, here's a word from our sponsor, Soundwizardry.com. Experience the realm of extraordinary audio with Soundwizardry. With a decade-long journey in sound design, we animate your movies and video games with the breath of sound. Our wide-ranging services include sound design, Foley, sound mixing and mastering, audio implementation, dialogue mastering, and the crafting of unique sound effects from freshly recorded material. Our portfolio contains Baldur's Gate 3, Steven Universe, Alan Wake 2, Gwent, Cyberpunk 2077, and more. Visit soundwizardry.com and let us transmute your vision into an auditory marvel. That's right, people. No matter what kind of project you're working on, if there's audio in it, you should contact soundwizardry.com. Obviously, they're amazing. You just watched the ad. They're amazing at working on game audio, but they work on a bunch of other stuff too: film, TV, podcasts, anything you got that makes a sound. Soundwizardry can make it better. Go to soundwizardry.com. And you may be wondering, Shane, what happened to name that game tune? Well, unfortunately, during today's episode, our internet went completely out and it hasn't come back. So we weren't able to have chat. So also, we were not able to do Name That Game Tune this week. So we'll be back next week, but unfortunately, we had to put it on hiatus for a week. And we apologize too for losing the stream for you guys. We actually didn't even realize it for a long time before it hit down. So we were into it because we were talking about Crimson Desert. And we didn't even realize the stream had gone down for a while. So anyway, thanks to everybody who did show up, and our apologies for everybody who showed up on YouTube and Twitch and just had the stream go down and it never come back up. We did post something on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, to let people know that the stream wasn't coming back up. But still, I know you guys make an appointment to show up and watch GameFace, and unfortunately today we did not hold up our end of the bargain. But we'll be back next Tuesday, like we always are, at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And speaking of, if you like the show and you want to see it continue, please head over to patreon.com/SIFTD. That's SIFTD. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early. For $7 a month, you go to the Ask Shane tier. We have a bunch of tiers there and rewards. Go and check it out. If you can't help us out with money, but you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, we talk about it on the show. You may be wondering what the heck it is. It's Amazon Twitch Prime. Basically, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can give us a free $2.50 every month. And you do have to re-up it every month, which stinks, but it's free money, and we really rely on that. We'd appreciate it if you could do it. If you're watching on YouTube, go down below into the description, have a look, and figure it out. That would be awesome. And if you don't have money, you're not an Amazon Prime subscriber, just like the show, comment on the show, ring the bell, hit the notifications, all that YouTube stuff. It'd be great. Go on social media and share the show. If you see people asking like, hey, what's a good gaming podcast? Jump in and say GameFace. Maybe include a link to the Apple iTunes podcast. All that stuff makes a difference for us, and we'd appreciate it very, very much. Let's see. What's up for next week, Matt?
I don't know. Anything?
Off the top of my head, no. I don't think there's any big games, but the games industry, I mean, we didn't even get to all the topics this week. We still cut some, and I didn't think we'd get anywhere near to the end. So no matter what, I promise you we'll have an awesome show for you guys next week. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't think there's a gigantic game that's coming out over the next, 5 days or so. I'm not 100% sure, but...
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. We'll just play some more Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen for me anyway. Well, everybody, have yourselves a great week filled with great games. GameFace is up and out.